Okay, hello guys and girls. So for my latest wrestling live stream, I'm gonna go back to the first Halloween Havoc from 1989, NWA / WCW. Pretty good lineup from what I can remember. So here we go. I'm gonna start the pay-per-view. I've got it paused on the WWE network. So 3, 2, 1, go. Go. Do, 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 do. Pretty head-banging music to kick off. Halloween Havoc 89. Settling the score.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Halloween Havoc 89. We're coming to you live from the Philadelphia Civic Center in the city of brotherly love here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I'm Jim Ross, and along with my colleague Bob Cottle, we'll be calling the action, ladies and gentlemen. And Bob, this is a night we've long waited for. This crowd is really ready.
From Philadelphia.
Right. Set behind us. All the wrestlers are ready. I just came from some of the dressing rooms.
JR and Bob Connell.
Maybe a little bit concerned.
I'm not so keen on all face announce teams.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be joined tonight by our colleagues Gordon Soley and Christopher Cruz. Let's go now to Gordon Soley.
I quite like both guys, especially JR, but
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
you sort of need a heel to mix it up, I
all of you
think.
for Halloween Havoc. During the evening, I'll be talking to the World Tag Team Champions, the Freebirds, twice U.S. Heavyweight Champion Lex Luger, and I'll be talking to Gary Hart about the implications of Thunderdome. This and much, much more is upcoming tonight here on Halloween Havoc. Jim, back to you and Bob Cottle.
Well, thanks very much, Gordon. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, Gordon, we told you the stars, Bob. This cage that hangs above the ring is simply mesmerizing. I've never seen anything quite like it.
Jim, the word on everybody's lips, of course, is Thunderdome. Thunderdome, that's it.
I'll tell you what, they are dead serious in the locker rooms. And fans, another one of our colleagues that'll be talking to many of the stars, our newest colleague. Let's go back to Christopher Cruz.
Thank you, gentlemen. Good to be here in Philadelphia. I'll be talking with the following participants just moments before they enter the ring. I'll be talking with them live. Of course, the legendary Bruno Sammartino, the Steiners, the Road Warriors, Sting, Ole Anderson, and, of course, World's Heavyweight Champion, Nature Boy, Ric Flair. All that and much more coming up live here from Philadelphia. Now, the long months of waiting have come to an end, and Halloween Havoc is about to begin. It's my pleasure to introduce to you the world's best ring announcer, Gary Michael Capetta.
Wrestling fans, this is the first event.
That set behind Cruz was so cheap.
Pennsylvania. It is set for one fall with a 20-minute
Looks like something they would have knocked up in a school play.
To my left, hailing from Syracuse, New York, he weighs 237 pounds, Captain Mike Rotunda.
Whoa, is that a perm?
And ladies and gentlemen,
Captain Mike Rotunda with a perm.
Weighing 248
that is scary.
pounds, the Z-Man.
Mike Rotunda against the Z-Man.
Well, the introductions have been completed by Gary Capetta, dubbed the world's most dangerous announcer, Bob. And I'll tell you, it's a real festive atmosphere here. Very holiday-like here in the city of brotherly love.
Jim, you're 100% right. They're all into the action already, and this is one that we've really been looking forward to seeing. Z-Man, a tremendous body, a former Mr. Minnesota, in against a man that held, of course, the World Television Championship for a long, long time. Really knows his way around that ring, Mike Rotunda.
This will be the stiffest test for the Z-Man. There's Rotunda with a waist lock, takes him over. The Z-Man has yet to be pinned in the NWA since his debut some weeks back. But he's in there with a man that, as Bob Cottle mentioned, a proud holder and a long-time holder of the World Television Championship. He defeated Nikita Koloff for that title on January 26th of 1988. So he knows what it's like to compete in big matches. He's been one half of the World Tag Team Championship, so indeed it will be a severe test of the Z-Man's ability against an outstanding competitor, the likes of Captain Mike Rotunda.
Well, and Jim, I think you're right 100%, and I think one of the assets, one of the things that Rotunda's going to call on is his experience.
Rotunda with a little look of bewilderment there. Rotunda trained by former Syracuse wrestling coach and great pro wrestler Dick Byers. And the Z-Man, as Bob mentioned, has competed in many sports. But one of his more aesthetic honors was Mr. Minnesota. Certainly has a great physique with the side headlock in a standing position against Captain Mike Rotunda on our first event here at Halloween
yes,
Havoc.
I forgot the
Rotunda
Z-Man
drops
was
down. The
Mr.
accident is
Minnesota.
and the Z-Man catches Rotunda one more
No
time.
doubt how they
With a
discovered him.
football tackle. And Rotunda, I don't think, was expecting that by the look on his face.
I don't think he was either. And I tell you, one of the things you notice when you
He's
look
got a good
at the
body.
Z-Man is the
He's a
fact that
pretty
his looks
boy.
is really deceiving. He's bigger than he looks,
Let's
Jim.
put him
He's
on
a big,
TV.
strong, rough, tough individual, got that outstanding body. And I tell you, he knows what the ring is all about, too. He's going to try to call on his quickness and speed. And he's going to need
So
it
the
against the likes
Z-Man's
of this
got a
Mike
mullet, and Rotunda has some sort of a perm.
The sleeper for the Z-Man, and of course the double arm suplex for Rotunda, who hops out of the ring, perhaps.
I'm not sure which is most scary. Probably
He's gonna
the
be playing
perm.
mind games out here with the youngster.
Well, and I would think, Rotunda is an exceptional wrestler on the mat. I think he'd want to stay in the ring, maybe get the Z-Man off his feet and down on the mat, because that's where Rotunda really excels.
Rotunda has got it.
I think I'm so used to seeing mullets on wrestlers, so it just seems to go with wrestling. But to see a perm, man.
Well, and I think Rotunda will try to play mind games with him, too. He's going to try to establish right away that he can manhandle him. But I don't think he can, this young fella, Jim.
I think his success will be wrestling Z-Man and taking the youngster from Minneapolis off his feet. But right now, the Z-Man with the side headlock, very basic wrestling maneuver.
Captain Mike Rotunda has to be one of his worst characters. I would say his worst.
But Z-Man's too quick, moves out of the way, catches him with a drop kick.
Nice drop kick.
Well, I tell you, that's that quickness we talked about. And right here at the beginning of the match, he's demonstrating that he can stand toe-to-toe with Mike Rotunda. Very important point.
One would think that the Z-Man might be somewhat intimidated as we are coming to what's Rotunda doing there now. We need to make sure he's a little unscrupulous from time to time. But one would think with all the pressure on this national event here on pay-per-view television that Rotunda
Seaman always better in tag teams, I thought.
I would think that he would want to keep his pressure on Z-Man, try to cut down on
not a terrible singles wrestler, but
Rotunda, you got to watch him, and Z-Man's got
always work better with a partner, I think.
Collar and elbow tie-up as the Z-Man backs Rotunda into the corner. We'll get a clean break, I think, as far as Z-Man's concerned, but not Rotunda. Cheap shot downstairs on the break. Rotunda with that thumb, you can see it extended right into the eye of Tom Zink, affectionately nicknamed the Z-Man by the ladies at Follow World Championship Wrestling, and Rotunda just sends the Z-Man sailing right outside the floor.
Well, it's vintage Mike Rotunda, and there you see some of the huge crowd here. And they really got a great night in store for him at Halloween Havoc. Jim, this youngster, as he climbs back into the ring, he's already made a tremendous impact on the NWA.
He's up and over, Bob. I thought he's going to get him over. Penny predicament here. 1, 2, and 2.5. And Rotunda kicks out. Very resilient, the young man, to come from over the top of the high-risk maneuver and got 2.5 on the more experienced Captain Mike Rotunda.
Boy, he's got superstar stamped all over him, Jim. And I tell you, barring a serious injury, he's got a fabulous career ahead of him.
Rotunda, the former punt, pass, and kick national semifinalist as a 9 and 13-year-old.
Almost the commentator's kiss of death, that. To say he's got a fabulous career ahead of him, barring injury.
One contest away from the Super Bowl as a 9-year-old. So this Mike Rotunda has been a great athlete since his days in Little League.
Well, and Z-Man putting the pressure on him, but Rotunda's got a high threshold of pain. He can stand a tremendous amount of pain, Jim.
Rotunda back up to a vertical base to attempt to relieve some of the pressure. Z-Man's got great upper body strength, and the wrist lock's very effective, but Rotunda with a retaliation type move. And again, the Z-Man gets the better of Captain Mike Rotunda, modified arm drag right into the arm bar.
Boy, you just can't teach speed, Jim. You've either got it, you're born with it, you've got it, or you don't have it.
This match
This might be the first time I've seen this pay-per-view all the way through.
Rotunda as the offensive wrestler, and
because I sort of had like a DVD of it, I think, which someone like did for me, like transferred from the video. But if it's the version released in the UK, I think you have some matches like cut off it.
This could be a springboard toward those matches.
At one time, Mike Rotunda was captain of the varsity club. That's the VC.
I don't know. Assuming this is the Raw version, which I think it must be because it's close to 3 hours, then chances are there's some matches I've not seen before.
He has amassed a phenomenal one-loss record, leading me to think that he's a better singles wrestler than a tag team wrestler.
Well, I think you're 100% right, and I think Mike really feels that way about it too, Jim. And I think that's why the fans in the foreseeable future are going to see him more in singles matches than in tag team matches.
Captain Mike Rotunda, one of the top 10 contenders in the NWA.
IRS will always be my favourite Rotunda character.
Championship at some point in time. Boy, it's a great way to utilize the head scissors, not the
that gimmick was gold, no matter what people say.
And Z-Man's neck is crimped, putting a great deal of pressure on the big neck muscles of Z-Man, but it restricts the flow of blood to the brain, and that can lead, obviously, to unconsciousness.
And as he turned in, he, as you say, he put that crimp in that neck, reached over, got that rope, got much more pressure on it.
Really sound guy in the ring, though, Rotunda. He really gets the basics of psychology and wrestling.
He's got that rope again, Jim, and I tell you, he don't mind using it if it's handy. Matter of fact, I think Rotunda would use any
Never set the world on fire, but a really solid hand.
He uses the abdominal stretch near the ropes. Rotunda likes to wrestle near the ropes. He likes to use the ropes for an advantage. He's very ring-wise. Very comfortable on the mat. That's from years of not only professional wrestling, but the amateur training in upstate New York in their amateur wrestling programs in elementary, junior high, and high school.
He's also a very quick thinker on his feet. He's always mentally into the match.
Side headlock. Z-Man keeping it very basic. I think that's, I talked with him before we went on the air. He said he was going to keep it real basic tonight. Was only going to go for the home run if he had to. He was going to keep it very basic. He knows that Rotunda is his greatest challenge to date in the NWA. Z-Man crisscrossing. And Rotunda throws him all the way out to the concrete floor. That's the
experience.
That's the ring savvy coming to the
Me
front.
and JR thinking alike there.
As we say, always mentally alert, always into the match. He was ready for the move by the Z-Man, and I tell you, it was a tremendous counter on the part of Rotunda. Z-Man, no way he could counter that.
Rotunda outside the ring now to follow up on this advantage that he has created. Oh, he slammed his head into the ring apron. Face first goes down the handsome youngster from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Z-Man a little addled right there.
His eyes look very glassy to me, Jim.
Nick Patrick, the official, will exercise a 10 count. If the Z-Man cannot get back in the ring by that Rotunda, but Rotunda breaks the count to inflict more punishment to Tom Zink, the Z-Man.
Boy, when he gets you hurt, you're at his mercy, and Rotunda's going to stay right on top of you.
Well, we'll find out a big gut check because thus far, the opportunities on television that we have had to see the Z-Man, he has not really been tested, in my estimation. This obviously is a stern test for the youngster, and his recuperative powers will surely be tested before this one is all said and done.
That's right, Jim. Conditioning and the tremendous shape that his body is in, that's going to tell right here because he's been taking the pounding from Rotunda. And as you say, gut check time. Man, it's time to dig down now. Let's see what's there.
He's got to block out the pain. He's got to block out any frustration. And he's got to get right back on the offense as he was in the early part of the match. Rotunda, standing vertical suplex. He nailed it. This could be all. Rotunda not very quick to follow up with a pin, however. And now he's on top of the lateral press. leg grapevine, but that hesitation may have cost him the 3.
Big mistake on the part of Mike Rotunda. And you don't expect to see that from a man with the experience of Mike Rotunda when he knows what can happen in the ring.
Here's his abdominal stretch, as I mentioned earlier. Look, he's near the ropes, as he likes to be. And he will take the shortcut, Bob.
He's got that rope, and he's really getting the pressure in
Oh,
there.
that's me a good abdominal
Stretch is
stretch
a maneuver that's been around for many, many decades.
with a
In professional
handful
wrestling,
of
putting a
tight
great deal of pressure on the lower
and
back.
a hand on the
and
rope.
stomach
Gotta
muscles.
love it.
It's tough enough in the middle of the ring. It's really tough when a guy's got the ropes for that added leverage.
Boy, and he's got that locked in tight. He's really got the pressure on the Z-Man. And as you say, with the rope, really applying it.
Good officiating by Nick Patrick. Rotunda doesn't like being caught with his hand in the cookie jar.
Z-Man's hurting you, Jim.
He certainly is. And Rotunda now continues to try to restrict the oxygen flow. The reverse chin lock is a great maneuver to do that. And the more oxygen you can restrict, that's the fuel that runs these athletes. And without the fuel in those engines, they're not going to go very far. Rotunda knows that.
Not very far and not very fast. And that's one of the things the Z-Man's got to worry about now. Is he going to have the speed and the quickness he's going to need?
Z-Man coming back, though. And not for long. Good clothesline by Captain Mike Rotunda, the Syracuse University alumni. Now opening up on the offense. He missed the drop kick. Could that be the break the Z-Man needs to get back on the attack?
He may right here be able to turn it around on Rotunda, because Rotunda now really in pain down on those knees toward the corner.
I think he hurt his back. The Irish whip will do it. Nice elbow, power elbow drive by the Z-Man. Rotunda now being punished by the Z-Man here at Halloween Havoc. This match, one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Rotunda up, high cross body. Z-Man's got him. Can he hold him down? 1, 2, 3. Yes, he does.
Z-Man got him. Reverse of the crossbody.
The winner of the match, the Z-Man. Boy, you're talking about a gut check, and he passed it with flying colors,
Decent
Bob.
opener.
Well, I tell you, Jim, no doubt about it, the way he came back, and Rotunda was absolutely stunned when he came off of the ropes.
What that crappy generic music is.
Thank you, Jim Ross. It is
Doesn't
indeed a
sound
personal
like the
honor to be
Z-Man
standing next to
theme.
my hero, Bruno Sammartino, the living legend. Bruno,
Pardon.
welcome back to Philadelphia.
Thank you, Chris. Nice to be here.
Bruno, you have faced many challenging and difficult situations in your nearly 30 years in the ring. Have you ever faced anything as difficult as refereeing in a Thunderdome match?
Not quite, Chris. This match is very unique. You know, you have these 4 individuals, and in there, and practically
Not
anything and
quite.
everything goes. Actually, it's
That's
a very
brilliant.
dangerous match. You might say, well, what's your
I've
role
come
in there?
close,
Well,
but
anything and everything
but
goes.
not
So my
quite,
role
Chris.
basically is that make sure that, for example, Lee Anderson and Gary Hart don't come in, don't get these guys any kind of a weapon. And when somebody throws the towels, of course, that's my job to stop this whole thing and to declare a victor. And anything else that might happen in that ring that shouldn't, I'll be aware of.
Well,
Have you
he
seen
knows
anything
what the
happening
job
in
of
that
a
ring that might
referee
maybe
is.
make you stop the match instead of the terminator?
So that's
Well,
a
I
good
really
start,
don't think so,
Bruno.
because this is a match that's going to be fought to the very bitter end, and it's going to be up to to either Anderson or Gary Hart to bring a conclusion to the match.
All right, Bruno Sammartino, good to be with you, and glad to have you back
Thank
in the
you.
ring.
Good to be here.
All right, fans, let us now go back to the ring. Gary Michael Capetta is standing by for the introductions to that big 6-man tag team match.
The wrestling fans of all ages, it is set for one fall with a 30-minute time limit. It is a special 6-man tag team match.
For the second time this week, I have to pull up with this dubbed-in WWE Network music for the midnight 6-man tag team action. The Midnight Express and Dr. Death Steve Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present the deadliest six-man tag team combination in wrestling. First, the four-time All-American from the University of Oklahoma, the toughest man in the world, Steve Dr. Death Williams. And his partners, the greatest combination in wrestling. They've wrecked more homes than Hurricane Hugo. Beautiful Bobby and Sweet Stan, the Midnight Express. And ladies and gentlemen,
Cornet on fine form. Quite the flashy entrance from the Samoan SWAT team.
With a total combined weight of 904 pounds. First, the Samoan SWAT team. And their tag team partner, the Samoan Savage.
So you got the Samoan SWAT team and the Samoan Savage. You just could have called them all the Samoan SWAT team.
Oliver Humperdinck has regressed the three Samoans back to their tribal state.
And they're with the
They
big
are a long way
kahuna.
from Wall Street, and Humperdinck's managerial abilities may be very compatible, and seemingly is, to these men.
The big kahuna, Jim. That's what he is now, the big kahuna. The big boss, the leader, you know. You're talking about that. Humperdinck can call on a vast amount of knowledge and experience. And if he can transpose it into these guys, I don't know, Jim. They're so wild. I don't know whether you can teach or train guys like this anything or not.
Many of our longtime fans will remember that Sir Oliver Humperdinck started out some years back managing a team known as the Hollywood Blondes. Jerry Brown and Buddy Roberts. And Buddy Roberts, of course, went on to Freebird fame. So Oliver Humperdinck has managed great teams since he got into the sport. But no team has had more raw physical talent than the three Samoans he has here now. Now, we talk about Midnight Express in Philadelphia. It was on September the 10th of last year that the Midnight Express defeated Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson to win the World Tag Team Championship. So they have had a lot of success here in the city of brotherly love. Let's see if that success will ring true tonight against the three Samoans.
Well, they're one of the most successful teams in the 80s, the tag team, Jim. That is, they've held 2 championships at one time, of course, the World Championship, the United States Tag Team, and Dr. Death. You know, I think he's probably the roughest, toughest man in all of sport, Jim. I don't know anybody that I think is any rougher and tougher, can take any more punishment than the big Oklahoma.
Well, Bob, you know, I'm very partial to Dr. Death because I've seen him. I remember 1982 when he was a junior at Oklahoma. He started wrestling professionally. He went back to Oklahoma to play football in the fall of '83. Was an all-Big 8 performer. Played in the Orange Bowl. So he started wrestling professionally as a junior in college. Went back and fulfilled his eligibility. Was a captain of the Oklahoma football team. And it's going to be Sweet Stan starting out for the fans here. Halloween Havoc is certainly an accurate name for this one. And the Samoans are very uncontrolled and very unorthodox.
Yes, sir. Completely out of control. And I think one of the biggest problems that the big kahuna is going to have with the threesome is getting them to wrestle. And by that, I mean, Jim, get in and wrestle and use wrestle hold. I don't think they're going to do that. I think that they're going to try to maul you, brawl you, kick you, scratch you. Anything they can do to you to hurt you is what the
For some reason, I always think of Oliver Humperdinck as Big Daddy Dean.
Controversy surrounding Jim Cornette advising
I
the
can't hear
Dynamic
him like that.
Dudes if that will have a bearing on the preparation for this match. Cornette has had words we have seen with Beautiful Bobby and Sweet Stan over his involvement with the Dudes. Hopefully that will be
Stan Lane always looks like a mini Lex Luger to
Because I
me.
tell you, in a match like this against three men
He's
like
just
they've
got
got
that
in there
look
now,
about
you
him.
got to have their mind strictly on what's happening in the ring, or life and limb can leave you in a hurry.
Sweet
Not that
Stan
that's an
reverses.
insult.
Samoan Samuel jumping over. That's 300 pounds up in the lights. Big clothesline. And over goes the Samoan Savage to the floor. Cornette's got that tennis racket caught. The beautiful Bobby with a straight right hand. The Huntsville, Alabama native from Sweet Home, Alabama came that right. And this one has all the makings of getting completely out of hand before it really gets underway.
And I tell you, when you talk about Sweet Bobby and Beautiful Stan, they're like a well-oiled machine. All the pieces
Dr.
fit together.
Death is
And you
fired
throw
up.
this big one in there. Look at Dr. Death. He's just daring them now to come forward.
Doc never backs away from a fight, I'll tell you that. Stan Lane, the former karate instructor and lifeguard at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. That's where he was discovered by Nature Boy Ric Flair at a beach party. His biggest influence in his career to get him started was the Nature Boy. There's no better role model for a wrestler to have in my book than the Nature Boy. Double elbow by the Midnight
You would
Express,
really
and their
love that
teamwork
story to
might
be
be
true,
enough to
wouldn't
take them
you?
to victory.
That
I gotta
Ric
think
Flair
the Samoans with
discovered
a 900
Stan Lane
pounds
at a
plus
beach
combined weight
party.
have got to be favored to win this one in my book.
Oh, they're so big and they're so strong. And I tell you, we talked about the threshold of pain earlier in the match with Mike Rotunda. I don't even know that these guys know what pain is. They're so wild, Jim, just wild.
Very out of control from time
Once
to time.
again, there's some scary hair in this match, particularly by the Samoans.
Beautiful Bobby Eaton had his first match when he was 16 years of age. He was on the ring crew, putting up the ring and little events around Alabama, regional events. 16 years of age, just got his driver's license. They needed somebody to fill in one night, and the rest is history, as they say. There's Stan Lane, the former karate instructor. That's where he gets his great martial arts background. He used to teach it. Big chop there by Samu. All three of these Samoans are brothers, and they're all in that 300-pound
Stinging
category.
shot.
All so big and so strong, you know, but it was a real stroke of genius when Beautiful Bobby and Sweet Stan got together.
Smooth there by Samu.
I always love the corner shot when a guy goes flying into the turnbuckle.
Well, he don't care how big you are.
He just got the Samoan Savage out of his head.
It's like,
300
oh,
pounds plus, right on his back. And the former offensive
awesome football tackle. This crowd are hot for Dr. Death.
And now it looks like Dr. Death is going to go wild. And Jim, that's another thing that I think is very important in this match, that he keep that temper of his under control. As you say, you've known him for a long time. He's got a very short fuse, and boy, it's like a bomb exploding when it goes off.
1982, Doc got hit in the eye, Bob, in a match in Shreveport, Louisiana. I took him to the hospital, 108 stitches, and he wrestled the next day.
Unreal.
The Samoans now, Sir Oliver Humperdinck has surrounded his troops. He's got them calm down and settle down as this phenomenal crowd looks on. We're excited about our next pay-per-view spectacular for all you fans that have purchased the pay-per-view. It'll be Starrcade 89 on Wednesday night, December the 13th from the Omni in Atlanta. And we'll be telling you more about that event because it will be the most unique format for a wrestling event ever held. And we'll be telling you more about in the upcoming weeks along our network. Williams exchanging right hands, but the big Samoan Fatu raked the eyes. Trying to take over the Doc, who reverses the Irish whip.
I don't think they've ever run up against an opponent like this man.
Dr. Death, he must think those guys are wearing a Nebraska jersey or something.
And I think he thinks he's on the Oklahoma line right now, too, Jim.
They could use him this year, Bob. That's an intense man right there. There's a scar right there, right above the left eye. 108 stitches.
That's unreal. I never heard that story, Jim.
Samu, I think he's the legal man. I'm not sure. Yeah. No, it's Fatu. Fatu's the legal man. Jim Cornette, the former photographer from Louisville, Kentucky. Former fan club member. Wrestling fan club member. Worked in the concession stand in Louisville, Kentucky as a youngster just to get in their matches. Made his debut in the pros, Cornette, in 82.
Those were the days when guys could get their break being photographers at ringside,
Well, not only does
as
he know
Cornette
how to use,
did.
he knows how to use every bit of the leverage.
Those days are gone, sadly. In most cases,
To use the
anyway.
leverage there, Bob, but too much bulk and strength. There's where the 300-pound mass comes in handy against a guy that's about the 230-pound range.
Leverage, quickness, speed can only overcome so much, and these guys are like mountains in the ring. Hey, there was a karate kick from one of the Samoans.
They have great dexterity for men their size, and that's a great example. A standing drop kick.
For those who follow me on the other channel board now, I put up my first Star Trek Discovery review today. So that's the first episode of season 3. The next episode goes up Friday on Netflix. So you can expect my second review later in the week. And also coming up on that channel, my thoughts on the finale of Lovecraft Country. When I say the finale, the season 1 finale, because of course there may be another season.
Just popping one more time. We thought that Cornette's involvement with the dudes may have interfered in the preparation. I guess we were wrong.
This is a really hot crowd.
Right, Bobby Lee. They are ready for the Samoan. Oh man, I'll tell you something. Lateral press now by Bobby.
You can expect more Halloween Havoc live streams on this channel before the month is out. I already did 90 the other night, so you can expect 91, which is an interesting show to say the least. 92, those two at least. Maybe one or two more. I might brave 95.
Thanks for being with us here for Halloween Havoc. Nice leapfrog by the 300-pounder of Bobby Eaton. A man that is, as I said, at his first match at 16, he knows all the tricks.
Well, he's been around, he's seen it all, and he knew exactly what to do there. Boy, that put a stop in the Samoans for a moment. They got to go back and regroup.
Collar and elbow tie up lane, drop toe hold, floating him to the arm bar. He has the leverage advantage now and will have until the Samoan rises to his feet and can turn him.
That's right, and then the height's going to tell. The Samoan, as big and as strong as he is, when he gets up on those feet, Jim, he's going to tower above Stan. And now he doesn't have that advantage.
Samoan backs him to the ropes. Misses with a clothesline. Sweet Stan trying to cross body, but he was caught in midair like a small child and then slammed.
Is that strength or is that strength?
And quickness. It's great quickness as he moved out of the way. And now tying up the big Samoan into the rope. Bobby Eaton working on the arm. And Stan Lane holds the Samoan in the ring to prevent the tag. That was good strategy.
Well, that goes back to their tag team experience, as we say. They are very experienced as a tag team. They know what the other one is thinking, and they work that well together.
Bobby Eaton the right hand, right on the solar plexus. Caught him with another right. And the Samoans, I think, were thinking they were going to really bully these guys around. Oh, that was almighty. Bobby Eaton tried to bulldog. The Samoan just kept the momentum going. The Samoan Savage and Eaton straddling the turnbuckle. I don't know how he can recuperate from that, Bob.
I don't either, not that. And as you say, he had him for the Bulldog. Boy, that was strength and power. The Samoan just wasn't going to go down.
Watch those two Samoans double teaming on beautiful Bobby.
Oh, no.
Those knackers of Bobby really taking the pounding now.
And the Samoans have turned the corner here.
First into the corner and then straddled on the
Whether he's 100%
guardrail.
or not. The best thing he can do is get in the ring and make a
Might
tag.
have to put them on ice when he gets to the
And the
locker room.
Samoans are going to try to keep him out, of course. They don't want him to get in to make that tag. I'm not so sure Eaton even knows where he is. It looks like he started down the aisle.
Oh, gosh, right on the concrete. He was just flying mad right on the concrete. You hear the splat of flesh on the concrete floor. There's no padding there, ladies and
Bobby
gentlemen.
taking an ass
He hit
kicking.
that concrete, and as you say, he just splattered him when he hit. Quickly over was Dr. Death instead to try to get to the rescue.
He's got him over the sunset flip, but he got two out of it. Well, that shows a great presence of mind. He's got to be in tremendous pain right now.
Boy, he is really taking the punishment, Jim. This young man is just fighting on instinct right now.
Double clothesline by the Samoan Savage and fought two. Headbutt, now lateral press, but Eaton's left shoulder was never covered there. He got it up. The Samoans are not they don't have the amateur background. They come right at you. Uncontrolled fury. They don't really know the grapevine of leg from time to time and the amateur moves.
Just physical.
So I'm
ability,
guessing
that's
the
what they've got.
Midnight and
And as you
Dr.
said,
Death are the
raw
faces
athletic
here.
talent and ability and the tremendous power and size that
Seems
they've got
to
go
be
with
that
it.
way.
Eaton, when he sits up, Jim, is facing the wrong way now. If he were turned around,
I always think
closer to
of
his
them
corner,
as
but
heels,
he
but
desperately needs to get over for a tag.
I remember there was a spell when they were
Between Bobby Eaton and
faces.
his corner. I don't know if it's instinctive or if it's taught by that man. What a pair of eyes. Betty Davis eyes.
Well, I tell you, he's very capable. He's shrewd.
And Bobby Eaton comes out.
Get to the tag.
But the guy, it didn't even face him. Their heads are like bricks.
And again, he's on the wrong side of the ring.
I think this is premeditated. I think the big kahuna, Sir Oliver Humperdinck, is orchestrating traffic over there, and they're following his instructions better than we have seen them in the past.
Boy, it takes a tremendous amount of determination to keep going like Eaton has done. He has been pounded, beaten, stomped, and kicked. He's been hurt every way he can be hurt, and there was another tremendous headbutt.
High impact maneuvers underscored and amplified by the Samoans.
He's going to have goose eggs all over that head tomorrow.
Sam move. Rolling beautiful Bobby back in the ring. And if the Samoans have their way, Eaton will not be able to make the tag.
Well, his stand came in and across. That Eaton just going to suffer more.
He is. It's an emotional thing. He's biting him in the arm. Look at the teeth marks.
Yep.
Look at the teeth marks on his forearm. Goodness gracious. Side slam. That's 300 pounds coming right down into
And
the
he
ribs.
can survive the
Now watch him
onslaught.
roll on top. He's not grapevining the leg, and Dr. Death perhaps prevented the 3 count.
At this point, you begin to wonder just how much physical abuse can a body take, even a physical specimen like Eaton. How much can he stand?
Jimmy Cornette getting this crowd involved. Phenomenal crowd, thousands upon thousands here in the massive Philadelphia Civic Center. The Samoans have got the pace under control. They got the match under control.
I'm sure that was one of the things that Humperdinck wanted them to do. When you talk about the pace, he wanted them to be able to wrestle at their pace and not at the speed with which Sweet Stan and beautiful Bobby wanted to work.
He's going for the headbutt. He may be going for his coup de grace here. The headbutt.
Boy, he's desperately trying, Jim. Look at him trying to roll down the ropes.
Rolling down the ropes. Here comes Dr. Nail. Right on the top rope. Williams with a kick to the ribs. Sends the Samoan for the ride. And a clothesline by Dr. Nail.
Three.
Oh, what strength! 300 pounds. The crowd standing. But they got him out of
Oh,
the
yeah.
chairs here in Philadelphia. Williams takes him up and over. Big power slam.
Oh, he had him, no doubt. He could have held him there for the 3.
Stan Lane's got to keep the pace up here. Went for a modified neck breaker. I don't think he got all of it. Lane with a flying forearm. Right hands to Samu. Well, this was really getting unorthodox. Karate kick by Stan Lane.
Fury.
Lane on top.
It's broken loose.
Referee's lost control of this one. Cornet with the tennis racket.
From behind, Stan Lane, he knocked Cornette off the
Oh
apron.
boy.
And the Samoans are going to win it.
Oh, they stole that one. Miscommunication with Cornet and his
Ladies
team.
and gentlemen, the winners of the match, the team of the Samoan SWAT team and the Samoan Savage.
Jim Cornette was up on the apron. And as the
I have to say, there's a lot of
to you again, and
bright Hawaiian shirts, considering this is October. What's wrong with people? Yeah, that was a bit telegraphed. There was an upset there.
It appears that reverse psychology, that reverse therapy is working on the Samoans. Gary Hart and Terry Funk have joined me. Just exactly how far are you willing to risk your men tonight in the electrified Thunderdome?
Absolutely and totally. There is no quitting in the J-Tex organization. And tonight, for the very first time, Mr. J of J-Tex will be at ringside with us, Terry.
You know, I want to say one thing. You know, Winston Churchill said, never say
Who the
die.
hell is
Gary Hart says electrify.
J-Tex?
And that's exactly
Jay,
what we're
or
going to
whatever
do.
they call
We're
him.
going to start a new dance craze here in Philadelphia. It's going to be the 10,000 watt boogie featuring Ric Flair and Sting here
Terry
tonight.
Funk
And
quoting
besides that, we're going to introduce
Winston
something
Churchill
new.
is kind of
Fried
scary.
chicken. I'm talking about Ric Flair when we push him up against that electrified fence.
Thank you so very much. And now let's go to Gary Capetta.
Wrestling fans, the following contest, it is set for one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Introducing in the ring from Havana, Cuba. He weighs 240 pounds, the Cuban Assassin.
The Cuban Assassin.
And wrestling fans, his opponent,
Looks like a classic job to me.
weighing 241 pounds, Wildfire Tommy Rich.
Tommy Rich against the Cuban Assassin. Talk about a film match.
the Cuban Assassin, a 9-year veteran, starting out very quickly on Wildfire Tommy
Look at
Rich.
those fans
Well, the
moving
Assassin
about.
is another big one and another strong one, 240 pounds or better. but
Even
he's
they
well over
don't want to
6
give
feet
this
tall,
match a
And he's
chance.
going to be a rough, tough competitor here for Rich. But, Jim, as you say, Rich may have his sights again set on another world championship. And as you say, the comeback man of the year, I think.
Big right hand by Wildfire Tommy Rich, who went into relative obscurity in the middle part of the 1980s. Reemerged here in 1989 here with the National Wrestling Alliance and on World Championship Wrestling as the Cuban Assassin. Cuban Assassin wrestled under the name of Fidel when he first broke into wrestling, Bob, and we can understand where his allegiance lies.
I think you're right. Jim, you're talking about Rich coming back and being the comeback story of the year. When he came back, well, he came back ready.
Fidel, hey.
He came back in top-notch condition all of the way, and he had worked out for a tremendous amount of time. And, of course, he always had that knowledge to go with it. He came back ready and prepared.
Cuban Assassin going downstairs and now with a headbutt upstairs. Originally from Havana, Cuba.
Hey, you know, Jim, the Cubans, they've been noted in recent years for their outstanding boxers, and they brought some great wrestlers around.
Theophilus Stevenson, the big three-time Olympic heavyweight champion, came out of Cuba. Great baseball teams coming out of Cuba now. Of course, the United States severed relations with Cuba, restricting trade there in 1960. This man really still, I think he thinks he's representing his country and their way of thinking here in the United States. Tommy Rich stopped pretty quickly there on the apron. Did not go all the way outside. Sunset flip up, outside back in, and he could never quite got the hole really secured, Bob.
Yep. Good move on his part, though, particularly when he went through the ropes. He grabbed that rope, stayed on the apron. That saved him from a heavy bump outside the ring.
Nice arm drag, taking over the Cuban Assassin into the armbar. Tommy Rich, a native of Henderson.
To be fair, I think I could beat up the Cuban Assassin. He looks like he just staggered out of the pub.
Tommy now living in Atlanta, where Starrcade 89, our next pay-per-view event, will take place in the Omni in Atlanta, fans. Wednesday night, December 13th, with wrestling's most unique one-night concept. And we're going to make some real startling announcements about Starrcade 89 in upcoming weeks. Cuban Assassin with those chops. Irish whip in, but Tommy moves out of the way. Arm drag taking him back over. That's a good way to negate the size advantage.
Yes, sir, and right
it's
there,
becoming my favourite line of these streams, but I can't believe Tommy Rich was NWA World Champion.
He's got the advantage at this point.
And I'll get another chance to top it out next time, because if I'm not mistaken, he wrestles at Halloween Havoc 91. I think it's him and Brian Pillman in the light heavyweight title tournament final.
Well, it's a big equalizer when you get to the eyes.
Powerful chop, putting Tommy Rich on his back.
Cuban Assassin getting some blows in to zero heat.
I'm a little apprehensive about the Thunderdome, and that match is going to be coming up later.
I think we're apprehensive. The athletes are even more apprehensive because no one's ever wrestled inside a cage that is electrified. Oh, there's a nice look, Bob. Face only a mother can love. His mother, baby.
I think that's right. It's got to be his again now. As Rich is on his feet, he had that leverage advantage, and he's kept that arm, Jim. He's worked on that arm. He's applied the pressure to it, and this may be the point that he's going to try to weaken on the Assassin. Get on that arm and stay with it.
Tommy Rich, another youngster that started his professional career as a teenager, had his first match at age 18. Tommy's got more experience than the Cuban Assassin, who's been in the sport 9 years, as I mentioned earlier.
I think the assassin will surprise you, though, Jim, for a man as big as he is, the way he gets around the ring, and even with his lack of experience, he's pretty rough and really tough in there. Hard to handle. A man that size, you don't just toss him around.
Tommy rolls out of the pressure. At least a portion of it. Here's a look at the youngster, now living, as I mentioned, in Atlanta, Georgia. Many of the fans that I see in Atlanta talking about this big event tonight will say hello to you. Thanks for watching us on pay-per-view.
Boy, the assassin, look, he's got that hole locked in. He really had the pressure on that shoulder and on that collarbone.
Headbutt by Tommy Rich. I have not seen Tommy use that offensive weapon in quite some time, if ever. High knee right under the chin, and Rich almost outside, and the assassin stomps on that head now. Oh, he's not scientific at all. I don't know. I guess the amateur wrestling program in Cuba leaves a little bit to be desired.
Well, he got Rich hurt, and when he got him hurt, boy, he was.
And I'm back
he was right on top
with a coffee and tea.
Look at this, as he's
Coffee and tea. Coffee and biscuit, I should say. And it's still bloody going.
Blatantly in front of referee Nick Patrick, who steps in and makes him break it.
It's pretty obvious Rich is going to win. And it's a nothing match.
Rich is trying to keep his legs away, and he elevates his way out of it.
Piss break match. Piss break match. Piss break match.
Headbutt right to the
What a time
plexus.
for Anthony to join me. Hello, how are you?
Powerful knee lift. Tommy Rich in trouble here at Halloween Havoc. Lateral press. He got two. Near fall and back to work on the reverse chin lock.
Well, every time, and it seems like Rich is going to be able to put him away. The
Another
assassin
chin
comes up
lock.
with some
Fuck
powerful
me.
move to really slow Rich down.
Suplex by the Cuban assassin.
Halloween Havoc 89. And it's the Cuban assassin against Tommy Rich.
Oh, Rich shook the ropes and the Cuban assassin came
And
right down on the turnbuckle.
it's as boring as that
Rather
sounds.
gingerly, I should add.
Big mistake for him.
Yeah,
right
I'm
there.
okay. Not bad.
Tommy Rich sends him for the ride. Gets him with that elbow. Now Wildfire taking back over. This one's been very evenly contested thus far, Bob.
Absolutely, and so many times in a professional match.
Nobody home on that move.
The decision is going to turn
I
on
think
him.
this will be it. There you go.
That's his move. 1, 2, 3. Tommy Rich has won this one. Wrestling fans, the winner of the match. Wildfire, Tommy Rich.
Oh, yeah. Did you watch them with your friends?
Wildfire, Tommy Rich with a Lou Thez press. Made famous by the legendary Lou Thez, a former 6 times heavyweight champion.
Bum, 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 bum. Orpheus is probably my favourite episode of the show.
Tommy Rich looking mighty good with that vertical press. But gentlemen, in just about 60 seconds, it all goes on the line.
Let me tell you something, baby. Every night the Freebirds go in the ring, it all goes on the line. And it's the same old stinking story, baby.
Oh, the
We still
Freebirds.
remain champions.
Now we're
We're the
talking.
greatest tag team in the world tonight, and we're going to be the greatest tag team in the world in the
You're
morning.
going to hear
Take it,
some
Michael.
singing in
You
a
know, it's
minute,
like this.
Anthony.
So many women, so little time. And like Prince said, it is the sign of the times. The
So
dynamic
many
dudes
women,
are a
so
great
little
young
time.
team. But when they meet
Or
the
you might do
Freebirds,
anyway.
in just a matter of moments, you're going to find out why they call us fabulous. You're going to find out why they call us Bad Street. You're going to find out why what Mama and Daddy warned you about a long time ago. And Gordon, you've seen it rolling and rocking for many years.
I have indeed, and I'll tell you what, their palace could turn into a mansion of misery tonight, that's for sure. All right, time
Oh,
for
that
this
was just
World
me
Championship
singing
match. Let's go
Piss
to the
Break match, which was more of a chant.
For wrestling fans, the following
Oh, fuck me. It's the dudes with... No, what is it? The dynamic dudes? The Freebirds better kick their ass. So how is she finding season 4 so far? Because I can imagine her having mixed feelings on it. Calabunga dude. Yeah, dynamic dude.
Here they are, the guys from the City of Sunshine. Please give them a warm, warm round of applause. They're Johnny and Shane, the Dynamic Dudes.
Cornet corn double duty. Yep, here we go, Anthony. I always rock out to this one. Ding, 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 ding.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Freebirds
Bob,
have the
a lot of
move.
wrestlers come to the ring with music nowadays, but Michael Hayes, fans, was the first wrestler to use rock and roll music on his entrances in our sport. The inspirational leader over the years of the fabulous Freebirds. And many say that when he added Jimmy Garvin as the newest member of the Birds, that he has the best combination that he has had to date. I'm sure that could be debated by aficionados of the sport, but the proof is, until now, Hayes had never held any version of the World Tag Team Championship. He does so now in the National Wrestling Alliance.
And one of the big threats, of course, is the team right here in the ring with them now, the Dynamic Dudes. They've got to dispose of the dudes to reinforce their hold on that World Championship.
You know, Bob, our sport is changing. We're getting student athletes involved in professional wrestling. Shane's got a degree in education. Johnny's got a degree in marketing. But Hayes and Garvin were valedictorians in the School of Hard Knocks.
That's right.
And so you've got two diverse backgrounds here. Both Hayes and Garvin started in the sport as teenagers. The new era, Shane and Johnny started in the sport after they finished their education, which kids is so very, very important nowadays to get that education. They have done that, and now they're in their chosen sport, but they have that degree to fall back on at any time.
That's right, and they got that knowledge, and you can't take it away from them, Jim.
Old school against
Shane,
new
a great move
school.
on Michael Hayes. You know, I think the dudes, we have to admit, are entering this match as the decided underdogs. The youngsters from the City of Sunshine.
And I'm hoping the old school kicks some butt.
Well, they got to try to use their quickness to stay out of the grasp of the Freebirds. No doubt about it. The Freebirds, if they can, they got to try to hurt this young team. They'd like to get rid of them forever.
Big shot by Michael Hayes on Shane. He reverses the trip to the ropes. Shane with a side headlock. Nice side headlock, but Hayes will stay there long. Hayes quickly going over to tag Jimmy Garvin. Shane has had an injured elbow in recent weeks. That's why he's wearing the heavy brace on his arm.
The
Here comes Big
Freebirds
Johnny
were
at 6'4".
given a raw
And Jimmy
deal
Garvin
the first
and
two
Johnny
Halloween
Ace are
Havoc,
exchanging right hands. Johnny getting the better of it at
because
this point in
90,
time.
which I
But
did
Garvin, the
earlier
reverses
in
it.
the week, they were
Garvin
saddled
missed with a
with the
clothesline.
bloody,
Bass leapfrog overtook
what were they, the Renegade
Well, they
Warriors.
were standing toe to toe. Neither man was
Here
going to
they've
give.
got the dynamic dudes.
In the semifinals on June 12th, these two teams met. And the Freebirds very controversially defeated the Dynamic Dudes in Fort Bragg on that fateful day of June the 12th. Nice arm bar there, staying away from Garvin.
Really got it locked in tight.
Good the elbow there, Bob.
Oh, man.
Got it all, he's got it wrapped up. Only doesn't wear that protective cover on his elbow there. Good shot of it. Powerful right hands by Jimmy Garvin. Shane gets him coming out of the corner with elevation. Garvin backs away quite wisely.
You're talking about him wearing that brace on that arm that he normally doesn't do it. And at times, Jim, you can see him favor it. But I tell you, he wouldn't have missed this match for the world.
Nice move by Shane. Reversing the wrist lock applied by Michael Hayes. Tag made. Johnny coming off the top with the elbow to the tricep, trying to knot it up. Trying to Charlie horse the upper arm to render it helpless. Because Hayes is really a natural southpaw. He can use his right hand, but he's a natural southpaw. Bob, I talked to Hayes and Garvin before we went on the air. I said, are you overconfident? And they said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. We respect this team, but we're going to beat this team.
Well, and I think they had every reason to do, Jim. And that's one thing they've got to always guard against is being overconfident, but certainly not here. Not with two athletes like that.
I'm liking the double leapfrog.
I'll tell you something. We talked about last September the 10th. Point out that the Midnight Express to the World Tag Team Championship. Could history repeat itself just a little over a year later in the same building?
And it could be happening right here. We could be looking at the new World Tag Team Champions in that ring, Johnny and Shane. Boy, they got all the enthusiasm of youth, and it really comes to the forefront.
Really an enthusiastic crowd here in Philadelphia. Freebirds have their share of fans here as well.
Michael P.S. Hayes has probably got some brothers in that crowd, Jim. As
I
you
guess
said
this
before,
was
he
almost
came up to hardware, and he's very proud of
the
that fella.
first era of like
Mainstream USA.
anti-heroes in wrestling.
Michael Hayes spent some
You know,
time
the
here in Philadelphia
Freebirds are a
growing up.
classic
Set for the
example
ride.
of
High
a
over
team
goes
who were
Johnny.
like cool
Shane catches
heels.
Hayes coming off that foot. And now Johnny takes him face first straight down. The
Like I
dudes
said the other night,
being
it
advised
probably
by
depends
Cornette.
on
And
the
those
city
teamwork, that
that the
teamwork makes
event's
the
in.
Midnight Express in my book.
But
Well, and I tell you, I thought he just about turned the table on Michael P.S. Hayes.
certainly they feel like
He's
those
almost
cool
got a
heels,
dose of his own DDT
which a
right
lot
there,
of
Jim.
fans like to cheer.
Hayes and Garvin, of course, love the DDT. They have perfected it
And that was
to its
a big
highest level.
part
It's
of
one
the
of the most devastating
90s and
maneuvers
the
in
Attitude
our
Era.
sport.
When you say perfected, an opponent just does not get up from that.
Side headlock applied by Johnny. He's 6'4", Bob, about 240.
He's still growing too, Jim.
Very proud of his marketing degree in business marketing, and they always tell the kids when they're talking to groups of kids that stay in school and study. Get your education. Good move there as Hayes tried to come in, and Johnny now controlling both men.
Flip the both. One with a head scissors, one with a headlock simultaneously. Garvin doesn't believe it.
Well, I'll tell you something. Garvin and Hayes are both great strategists. They've both seen it all, so to speak. And that will be perhaps something Jim Cornette cannot combat, is their strategy and their expertise. You can only prepare your charges so much.
I think he called it right, though, Jim, earlier. I think you can really see where some of Jim Cornette has rubbed off on the D.
The plan is for me to be up for the WWE Halloween Havoc this year on the 28th.
Got him rolled up. 1, 2.
No promises, but there's a chance I'll be live streaming for that.
With a blatant cheap left right to the jaw of Johnny. And Johnny Ace is now on Dream Street. Barber, running knee lift.
They got him in bad trouble now. He looks like he's out. Out of the ring, down on the floor.
This match for the tag team champions of the world. The challengers right there. The dynamic dudes. And what we could say very conservatively is the biggest match of their career. And Michael Hayes with another cheap shot.
Boy, you can expect anything from Hayes and Garvin when you're in a match with them. It doesn't matter where you are, in or out of the ring, you're never safe.
Cornette's having some words with the official. 5 times referee of the year, Tommy Young. Tommy Young's a great official, but hey, there's only so much a guy can do when you got the 5 count to play with. And the Freebirds know how to use all 5 counts.
As a tag team, nobody works it better than do the Freebirds. As you say, they know how to use all the 5 counts. They know how to work everything that the referee can do. That carries them a long way in the ring.
Tag made now. Here comes Michael Hayes. Johnny fighting back. You got to hand it to the big kid. Johnny should make a tag. He had a chance to make the tag, and he didn't do it. I think that was a mistake.
Came back very strong, but now he's in trouble again. Over in the corner of the Freebirds. Long way across the ring.
Of course, Johnny A, the future John Laurinaitis, who was on the receiving end of that famous phone message from Corny. Thank you, fuck you, bye. That's it. They're going nuts.
Cornette's got these guys scouted perfectly because Johnny blocked the DDT, which most men don't have the preparation to do.
I'm trying to think back. I don't recall when the last time I saw somebody block it.
He made the tag. Shane, the fresh man, and the legal man with gorgeous Jimmy Garvin. The elevation, up in the lights. Goes 1/2 of the world tag team champions. The youngster from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the native, on fire here. Double clothesline by Johnny. Double knee, now goes Hayes. I think Garvin's the legal man, if I'm not mistaken. Here they go for the wipeout. For Hayes, Johnny's foot.
Nice counter. And the Freebirds retain the belt.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winners and still World Tag Team Champions, the Fabulous Freebirds.
Boy, just when it looked bleak for the world champions, Jim, outside of the ring, you saw what happened, and they were able to turn it around in just that quick moment.
Well, they were going for their wipeout, but Michael Hayes was on the outside of the ring. He pulled the foot of Johnny, and that allowed Jimmy Garvin to land right on top of
Corny,
Shane.
not please.
It's a big surprise there. Much of the wrestling world thought this would be the night the Dynamic Dudes took home the gold. It was not to be, but there is still a big future in store for the Dynamic Dudes. In just a few minutes, the world
really
will see
isn't,
Doom.
Chris.
Of course, the Steiners will see them inside the ring. My question to you, Scott Steiner, is how are you going to fight a team you have never seen before?
We have no strategy. We need no strategy tonight.
Oh, wow.
It's a total reckless abandon. That's
This
when you
is
play our
Doom's
game.
debut.
Because when there's no rules, no anything, you're in our ball game.
Looking forward to
You play our
that.
game. That's the way we like it. Yeah, we got Doom. That's a good name for those guys, Doom, because when we get done with them, it's going to be finished. We like a good fight. Who cares what happens? Who cares what happens, man? As long as we get in it, you get to fight.
The
You get to
fuck
beat
is
up.
he
We just do
talking
what you got
about?
to do.
Rick Steiner, many
Fish.
voices thinking that woman will be able to distract you and cause your defeat.
No, she did it to me one time. If I get her a chance to get in there, if I get her a chance, I'm going to take her and get it. To
All right,
her.
fans, back now to the ring live in Philadelphia.
Okay. That was creepy. So I think in this either has to be a draw or Doom wins, but in a cheap way. I can't see Doom losing on their debut. Doom. Doom. R.I.P. Nancy. Looking damn fine. Yeah, I reckon this will be a draw. Go for a double count out.
We've seen the metamorphosis of this woman to the point where she wants to be called woman, and she did what she has done to make an impact, she says, to make an impression on the entire sport of wrestling. And I think she has done that quite conclusively.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt about that. And not only did she steal the heart of Rick Steiner, she tried to get in there and cut it right out of him. Gosh, those guys are imposing. Look at them. Look at the Steiners.
The Steiners, boy, they've got scores to settle here. Starting out against these two giant masked men, got to be in a 300-pound range. As Rick Steiner, with Doom number 1, we'll call him. And Scott Steiner with number 2. The Steiners thrown together. Look at the belly suplex. Oh, this crowd loves it. It's like the dog pound. They're barking for the dog-faced gremlin.
Oh, boy, and I tell you, they're both very physical young men. Their look is very deceiving, too. Very strong and powerful.
Both the Steiners were All-Americans at the University of Michigan. Double clothesline. Up and over. Goes Doom, and the Steiners are electrified. Just like the cage, they're electrifying this capacity crowd here in Philadelphia.
Steiner's cleaning
Well, they're
house.
565 pounds, but it doesn't bother the Steiners, doesn't faze them at all. And I think woman right now, I don't know what she's thinking. It looks like she's having some second thoughts.
Bob, look at the upper body development on these two masked men. They are huge. 565. They got to be more than that 600-pound combined weight range. I think that may be a mind game there. They're big.
They are
Look
huge.
at their arms. They got to be 20, 22-inch arms.
Those tremendous chests and those shoulders, too. You can tell that they're extremely powerful men. And as physical and as strong and powerful as the Steiners are, Jim, I don't know whether they can get in there and just match strength for strength against guys like this.
The Steiners have always been able to use their power when they had to. But will their power be enough against these two big guys? Straight right hand as the referee tried to break. And Doom, we'll call him Doom number 1. He's in there, the first man legal. Clothesline on the back of that head.
Almost cut his head off from behind with that one.
Snapmare taking Doom number 1 over. Knee drop right to the chest. On top, lateral press. Got 2. These guys with a great bench press strength are hard to hold down on the lateral press.
But I tell you, the Steiners.
The fury of this guy. And he's here to fight, not to wrestle. Steiner! The Steiner line, and another one. Fans, don't forget that Lance Russell and Joe Pedicino, immediately following this broadcast, will host a 30-minute post-game wrap-up on the Wrestling Hotline. That's the Wrestling Hotline. 1-900-909-9900 is the number. They're calling it right now, as a matter of fact, with the post-game show live at 10 o'clock Eastern Time, right here on pay-per-view. And Woman is not too pleased with what she has seen thus far.
No, I tell you, she looks like she is plenty mad. She's about to burn.
Well, you know, Kevin Sullivan has been associated with this group, and I have heard that she has relieved him of his duties. She's a user. He procured the team she wanted, and then she discarded him.
So she betrayed him, then, just like she did Steiner.
Big right hand by the dog face. On top of the lateral press, 1-2. Look at that arm. Look at that big, giant arm in the reverse chin lock. He's got a new tattoo, Bob, right there. You see that bulldog?
You know,
I said, why didn't you have a Wolverine on your shoulder? And he said, because I wanted a dog. I said, why didn't you buy a dog? He got it right there in his arm.
He can carry that one with him wherever he goes. I think that's the reason he wanted it. If he wants to pet it, he just reaches around there and rubs that shoulder a little bit, Jim. You know, I don't know. You can count on your hand, on one hand, the number of teams that can be as strong and as powerful and physical as the Steiner, but can also wrestle you like they can, Jim.
Rick Steiner, 1 year the elder of brother Scott. Scott was going to be a school teacher until Rick convinced him to come to wrestling. Front face lock. He blocked it.
Yes, sir.
Wide base. He's got it blocked.
You can just see one of the Steiner brothers as a school teacher, can't
Basically
you?
one arm to get the big man up and over.
They would be suplexing
before,
the kids
his
every
size
time they
deceiving.
got out
Who
of
was the
line.
stronger of the two right there?
Look at Scott Steiner up top. High clothesline off the second rope.
Nice double team.
Lateral press. 1-2. 2.5. Close but no cigar. I tried to have a word with a woman. She would not talk to me. I've had that happen with a lot of women. They wouldn't talk to me, Bob. But she wanted to talk strategy with her man. There's no doubt that she is the boss of this outfit, as they say out in Oklahoma.
And the way things are going in that ring right now, she's going to have some words to say, and they're going to be some tough words for the dude.
Not the best of matches so far.
I don't think she's going to tolerate any losers.
Steiner's having to carry
You
it.
know, it looked like she set out from the very beginning just to destroy the Steiners. Why that is, I don't know. But when she went after Scott Steiner like she did, and now with the Doom at her.
Bob, I think the reason is because Rick Steiner especially was so susceptible to her tactics.
Yep.
Big clothesline there. Thinking Rick Steiner on a 360. Steiner was so susceptible, so gullible, if you will. Steiner dropped right on the top rope. Doom number 1 in there. Lateral press, 1-2, but the dog-faced gremlin too strong on this occasion as he kicks out. Powerful kick. Making the tag to younger brother Scott Steiner. Boy,
It's a good job they named
You know,
Doom
Jimmy,
later.
these young brothers are very close.
Face first suplex, Bob.
If it was just Doom number 1 or Doom number 2 all the time,
But he kicks out. What's that bench press strength?
they would have lost
And then
track
he
of
makes the
which
tag.
one
Yes,
was
sir.
which.
I was going to say they're so close, they just think alike in that ring. One knows when to go over to make the tag, the other one knows when to expect it.
Scotty Steiner been in the sport 4 years, ladies and gentlemen. His brother 5 years. Good move. Line, waist lock into the belly of that suplex. She is demanding that they get up and fight these guys. 2 elbow drops and a kick out. Oh, she's quite a taskmaster.
She is steaming. I expect to see her jump into that ring any moment.
I wouldn't advise that.
Get those Steiners!
Well, that pretty well sums it up.
Yes, sir. You
Her
can very
feelings.
plainly hear it. Get those Steiners.
Side headlock. Oh, from behind. It was from behind. The masked man on the outside from behind hit Scotty right in the back of the head. And now Doom number 2. People saying, how does he tell them apart? I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah, I got it, Jim. I haven't been able to decide that yet, how in the world to do it. I can't figure it out.
Double axe handle blow off the second turnbuckle. And now Scotty Steiner will have a gut check. Well, we know where he comes from.
Absolutely, and he can really dig down and get it. And that's what he's going to have to do now. I tell you, the Doom looks like they're a matched pair, Jim. It looks like they came out together.
And the backgrounds of Doom is mysterious as their identity. Doom number 1. Back outside. Dropping across the security railing. And that's solid steel.
And it just doesn't give. And I tell you, Scott Steiner, boy, he's taken the punishment from these two in the last several minutes. But Jim, again, the conditioning of this young man, he's able to look there, get on his knees and fight back.
Both these guys were national champions, All-Americans at the University of Michigan. Double elbow there by Doom. They haven't ever seen anything like this in the Big Ten. Lateral press on 2, but he kicks out.
I don't know if it was a lack of experience or not, but he did. He never tried to hook the leg when he had him covered with a press.
Maybe confidence. Maybe lack of experience. I don't know how experienced these
That's
guys
right.
are.
We don't know where they came from, who they are. You don't know what kind of experience they got. And, of course, Jim, they were completely new to the Steiners. The Steiners didn't know what to expect.
Scott Steiner trying to get back on the attack. But Doom number 2 cuts him off and tags in number 1.
Doom may be a mystery team,
First time we've seen
but
this
they
is a
don't have the
devastating shame.
thing on the WCW
I
mark.
think
Unforgettable impression.
regardless of what happens in this match, Jim, you're going to hear a lot from these guys. Tag teams in the NWA, they're going to be put on notice right here. Watch out for Doom.
Seen the next live stream for that.
Reed snapping. Tell you something. That's
Yeah, it's going okay, not too bad.
Does a lot of things to people.
How's it going?
Perhaps the lady that wants the greed, she wants affluency, she wants power. And the dog face has had all he can handle. But it gives the other guys a chance to double
Oh,
team.
yeah, Scott. He put Scott in great jeopardy.
Over the top rope, the referee was putting Big Brother Rick out of the
Referee
ring.
didn't see
He
it
did not
though.
see Scott Steiner go all the way over the top.
I asked you before, but you'd already gone. Has your friend seen?
Is her
Oh
motivation greed?
no, I asked.
Is her motivation ego? Is it
What
status?
does your
Is it
friend
power?
think of season 4? Because I can imagine her having mixed
What's he gonna want
feelings,
next? If Doom can beat the
as
Steiners,
many
what will be
people
Doom's
do.
next step?
Just no telling. I'm sure she conceives In her own mind, nothing less than the top will do.
He's trying to get him over, Bob.
Oh, there we go. Bit of a helping hand
He got two.
from his brother.
Just couldn't hold a powerful man for three.
Neck breaker. And now the lateral press. 1, 2, and that's close. I mean, real close.
Oh, man, and he's really upset at the referee. He thought it was a slow count. Again, he didn't have a leg hook.
Has she bloody gone again? I asked her a question. Oh no, she's back. I see.
Oh, those blows, a lot of impact.
I tell you, and it's been Scott Steiner that's been on the receiving end.
Powerful power slam. Look at the muscular development of this big man. As Rick Steiner comes in again to help his brother. And he was double teamed again while referee is putting out.
Yeah.
Rick Steiner, lateral press. Scott Steiner with his shoulder up. The question here is, how much more can he take?
Yeah, I much prefer Angelus in Buffy than what we get in season 4 of Angel.
But the human body can only take so much.
And Scott Steiner has really
I mean, I like the storyline, but
we talked about, we knew that he had the guts and the determination.
I prefer the way he was presented in Buffy. Hey Sheep, how's it going?
Shoulders and arms in this big man slam.
Tremendous.
He's picking him up, made the tag.
There's the hot tag.
He's made the tag.
Rick Steiner in. No, maybe not.
The referee didn't see it, for goodness sakes.
And now he's going to be double teamed again.
Spike pile driver.
There is no way under the
Well,
sun
not
this
quite
kid can
Spike,
get
but
in here.
yeah, it's going okay. Watching Halloween Havoc 89, as you can see.
He got a shoulder.
He kicked out. He's turning the body with every ounce of strength and determination that he possesses to prevent the pin.
Yeah, I saw the Joker. Wasn't a big fan of it, really. Yeah, I didn't like it.
Big kick there by Scotty Steiner. That's courageous. His own break.
I was never a fan of him having his own movie.
The tag to his big brother. Doom has made the tag. Doom number 1.
You know, he just works more as a supporting character, as a villain. We didn't need them trying to humanize the Joker. Hey, Long Nap, how's it going?
They don't love it in the ring. I can testify to that.
Oh boy, and you're talking about scores to 7.
Yeah, not bad, not bad.
Scotty Steiner out there with one of Doom. While Rick Steiner.
Big time power slam. Oh, woman's gonna work her charms
There's a belly to belly by Rick Steiner. This one should
on
be
the
over.
dog-faced gremlin.
There's a woman that
Talk about Beauty and the Beast.
The woman that humiliated him on national television.
What's she doing, Jim? Putting something in the mask.
She put something in that
Oh, she
mask.
sneaked a weapon into the
She
mask.
has something in that mask. It's see.
There you go.
His forehead is protruding.
Oh no!
He's knocked Steiner out. There's something in the mask.
Nicely done. Doom Steel one. No, I'm watching WCW Halloween Havoc from 1989.
Big mask man something.
The first ever Halloween Havoc. I've heard of the Great Khali.
Has upset the Steiners here.
Which Clash of the Champions is Brock Lesnar against Cena. That's not a current one, surely.
Well, I'll guarantee you one thing, and the Philadelphia Civic Center is not brimming full of brotherly love tonight, as we just discovered. And in just moments from now, the total package himself puts the U.S. Heavyweight Championship on the line.
You know, Gordon Soley, this is the real deal, Brian Pillman. Your little exhibition skirmishes are over with. This is when you got the butterflies deep in the pit of your stomach, when it's all on the line. Big money, big reputations, a big match for all the marbles, for all the gold.
I wouldn't say he's that much different. I think he just worked better in Buffy because it's more like he was the supporting villain, and it's almost like he came in, did some damage, and then got out.
He's been champion more than once, which means he can be beat. Let's go to the ring.
And you obviously had the whole connection to Buffy. Yeah. Well, I figured it must be because Cena's basically part-time and Lesnar has left for a while, I think. Here we go. I love it. They've got the cheerleaders for Flying Brian. Sunday, Monday, happy day. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy day. Grooving all week for you. Yeah, I've heard of the Great Khali. I remember him. Unfortunately, he was world champion for a while. One of the worst choices ever to be world champion. US title time. Pillman against Lex Luger.
He is the United States Heavyweight Champion. The total package. Lex Luger.
Luger looking awesome. Slick back hair and everything. Bam, 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 bam,
He went down to Miami, too.
He went to Lou Saban, recruited him in Miami. Joe Paterno at Penn State.
Right.
He went to Miami.
I remember this being a good match.
Became the youngest starter in professional football history.
Two
at the age of
ex-footballers.
19 when he started in the Canadian Football League. Played 7 years of professional football. And can anyone deny that this man is a leading contender to rule our sport
But
in
with
the 90s?
two
I
very
don't think so, Jim. And as you say, he played
different
several years of
styles.
professional football. I think, and I don't think there's any denying it, I think everybody would have to agree with us that he's one of the most physically gifted athletes in the world. That's the total package, Lex Luger.
He's been in the sport just over 3 years, and he has held the United States Championship on 3 occasions. That's no one in our sport, I mean no one in their first 3 years has held a championship as prestigious as the United States title on 3 occasions. It is unheard of in wrestling.
And Brian, what an athlete he is. But I tell you,
I guess
it's
he
gonna
wasn't
take
that.
all of it. He's totally committed to defeating Lex Luger and taking that championship. But what a formidable task. I think that it's a mountain that there's not many men in professional wrestling can scale, if anybody can scale it.
You know, these guys, Luger goes to Miami of Florida. Pillman goes to Miami of Ohio.
That's right.
Luger played in the offensive line.
Luger,
Pillman
a
played nose
three-time
tackle.
US
And much like Ric
champion
Flair, who played college
in his
ball at
first
260,
3 years.
He now weighs 240 to wrestle. Bryan dropped about 20 pounds to compete in pro wrestling. He was bigger as a football player, but he's quicker as a wrestler.
That's right. He wanted that quickness and that speed, and he feels like that while he gives away something at 227, that he's a much better athlete and wrestler.
Great question. I'll have to have a think about it.
Squeezes out of that corner to get away from the onslaught of the total package.
We talked about him losing.
Courageous Keith, maybe. The Dominator, Keith Beard. No, I would have to take away the beard part. That just doesn't sound cool.
Bryan weighed about 240. He was used to going against those guys that size. He could use his muscle and his power. But here, he's got to use quickness and agility to offset Luger. If he tries to go toe-to-toe, if he loses his composure, he's going to be in trouble. Because Luger, well, I'll tell you something. He
That'll
is the man
do.
right now. He has it all. Every physical gift.
Any more suggestions? Yes, I like that one as well.
This man possesses.
Keith the Dominator, Keith the Destroyer.
Jim, I know you are. Wrestling is a unique sport in the fact that men really reach their prime in wrestling a little later than do athletes in most sports. This man here, unlimited career, could be ahead of him as young as Luger is.
Reach their prime a little later. Does that go for announcers too?
That goes for announcers, I think, also, Jim. Yeah, we're still looking for our prime, right?
Indeed we are. Luger with strength, taking Pillman face first.
Oh, don't ruin it by bringing Connor into this.
Right hands for the total package. Flying Bryan has got to get Luger off his feet, off that vertical base where Luger is so effective. Luger doing some taunting there.
That's another reason I love Orpheus, because of Faith kicking his ass all over that cage.
Well, I tell you, he's going to turn loose 227 pounds of fury right now.
The Fury has hit the face. Ric Flair-like chop. Up and over. Flying drop kick.
Awesome job.
The best in the sport. Luger knows it too.
He can.
Oh, into the garden.
Boy, he can get so high, and with that drop kick, as you said, he nails it. It's always right on the button.
Big chop. I'll tell you what, he's got a heck of a target there. Luger's chest, you can show a movie off of it.
You'll miss a guy that large, no doubt. You know, we talked about Luger.
There he is, Bob.
Watch out. Ooh. Boy, Luger wanted no part of that.
Flying Bryan did not stay in the ring. He's outside.
Connor's so irritating.
He's trying to evade. The flying one. Luger back into the ring. And he caught him. A mistake. The first mistake made.
He was at his best when he came back in season 5.
Jim, talking to Flying Bryan earlier before the match back in the dressing room, he said one thing he had to do. He had to wrestle a mistake-free match. And I'm not sure he's going to be able to do that against Luger.
Great right hand by the total package. Luger kicked it right to the gut.
This has to be one of Luger's best matches. From the early matches, anyway.
Jim, this guy can bench press over 565 pounds.
Good stuff.
Coming up and over. High.
Awesome crossbody off the top.
All right, now he has him where he wants it. He told me before we were on the air, I've got to take him off his feet. I've got to keep focused on taking Luger off his feet because Luger hates to wrestle defensively.
Yeah, not too long ago I watched season 5.
On the offense, he was an offensive guard. He wants to take it right to you. He wants to dictate the play, not to have it dictated to him.
If you can get him off his feet and keep him on the mat, of course, you're much more equal.
One complaint I have about it
and that size and that strength when he's on the mat. And that's where Brian needs to keep
Mostly, yeah, there's a few stinkers in there. And I think they overdo the Angel Spike stuff. I think at times it overshadows the other characters.
In the Omni in Atlanta, Wednesday night, December 13th. And when you hear the lineup for that, fans, I think it's the most.
So yeah, it's mostly a good season.
Ever. And we'll be telling you about that in upcoming weeks as Luger continues now to hammer away at Flying Brian. Luger, who is a great wrestler, he's learned his craft faster than anyone. Oh, what a move! Great adjustment by Flying Brian. Hip blocking Luger over, right into the arm drag. But when Luger has, my point, Bob, is that when Luger has been on the attack, he has been street fighting.
Yeah.
He's been using his rights and his lefts and his feet. Flying Brian now, again, as he said he wanted to. I want to stay focused.
This match does a really good job in getting Pillman over, even in defeat.
Maybe a mistake on Luger's part. I think what he's trying to do with those rights and those lefts, of course, keep pounding away at Brian, slow him down, get him hurt, get some of that quickness out of him, take some of the steam out of him, and then I think he may be able to handle him easier. That's at least what Luger is thinking. There again, we saw the cheerleaders of Brian.
He has cheerleaders all over World Championship Wrestling in the NWA.
I think 95% of them are young ladies, too, that I see all around the arenas, Jim. Can't blame them.
I don't think he gets too lonesome. Big right hand to the back of the head by Luger again, follows it up with a kick. I'm surprised that Luger's using these tactics. I'm surprised he's not using power moves, bear hugs, where he can use his upper body strength.
And, of course, he may be trying to set him up for that torture rack of his. If he ever gets him in that, it's curtains, I think, for Brian. I don't think I've ever seen anybody get out of that.
He's got to work on his back first, though, Bob, to weaken it. Luger's showing that great football tackling ability, that blocking ability. High leapfrog over goes Flying Brian. Catches Luger coming in deep for the hip lock. Follows him with that drop kick right to the button, and then another arm drag, and again taking Luger over. I'll tell you something. Luger's face tells the story. Look at us right there. He doesn't look overconfident, does he?
No, sirree. He knows he's in a
just can't get on his game.
But I tell you, with all of the tools, the total package, I don't think there's any doubt. And of course, we use this word sometimes, and I think maybe we use it too often. But certainly, superstar status is this man here.
Flying Brian has the advantage now. Luger must rise to a vertical base to relieve some of the pressure.
Jim, Luger is not wrestling as well on the mat. You know, you pointed that out earlier, and that may be another reason that he's slugging and stomping and kicking. And I don't know why that is, why he's not wrestling that well.
Well, he has so much self-confidence and so much ability. I'm sure that he thinks that he can take it right to Flying Brian and use his power and his strength just to finally overrun it, to overcome it. Yeah. Flying Brian's not going for it.
I think it would be a mistake for Brian to try to get into a test of strength here, Jim. He doesn't want to do that.
I'm not sure if the presidential debate's going ahead tomorrow, but if it is, I should be on for that.
Flying Brian, just over 2 years in the sport. Lex Luger has almost completed his third year in the sport. The future is extremely bright for World Championship Wrestling. And these two men are involved, obviously, in that future. As Flying Brian leapfrogs over, goes the opposite way to the ropes. Luger missed with a clothesline. Flying Brian's got him up. He gets hitting. 1, 2, but Luger's too strong. An average man with a big pin there, but Luger's phenomenal strength allowed him to get out of that pinning predicament.
We talked about how strong he was and what he could do with the weights. If it hadn't been for that, it would all have been over. We would have had a new United States champion. He knows without a doubt that he's in the battle now for survival.
He's more concerned about what the fans are saying at ringside.
That's not smart.
No, it isn't.
No, Luger's a heel here, I
He
think.
doesn't react well to negativisms from the fans.
You know, that's ego. I don't think you'll ever find
I
anybody
assumed they were both faces, but I think Luger's a heel. Lex Luger.
Well, that's what a lot of fans hope happens tonight, that he loses the United States Heavyweight Championship. I know that several members of the Cincinnati Bengals watching this broadcast cheering for their man, Flying Brian, the kamikaze of the Suicide Squad. He was a wedge buster. Princess Luger coming in, both feet right to the chest, going up for the coup de grace.
This could be it.
High risk. He's got to hit it. But Luger moved. Luger rolled out of the way. Great ring presence by the incomparable United States Heavyweight Champion.
Luger reached down. He had just enough strength and stamina at the moment to roll over, and that roll got him just enough out of the way from that move by Brian.
Awesome strength by Luger. Luger now has reasserted his authority.
Hardy.
Dropping Flying Brian right on the top turnbuckle. He's so aware of the fans and what they're saying to him. He's allowing Flying Brian to get some more oxygen in those lungs.
Again, he's not wrestling a very smart man. If he can, he's wrestling a great one, but it's not a smart one.
What a clothesline. He has it all. You're looking at the man that will lead. He does it again into the 90s. And he knows it. Ric Flair-like chops from Flying Brian. Kick to the abdomen over the total package. Another chop. A right hand to the head. And now Flying Brian is fighting back. A little too much on this occasion. Boy, you got to hand it to Luger. He is so quick. For 275. From behind. He clipped him right in the back of the head.
That's like getting hit by a freight train from behind.
He is an awesome son of a gun, I'll tell you that. Dropping those big forearms. Right to the head, stepping on Flying Brian's throat. That big size 14 shoe right across the throat.
274 pounds of pure muscle. There's not an ounce of fat on that body anywhere.
It was a heck of an offensive guard in college and the pros. Standing vertical suplex, snaps it off, working on the lower back.
Maybe going to set him up for it, Jim.
This is his normal modus operandi. Work on the back. Very, very arrogant with his cover. He won't get him here.
No. Brian kicked out of that one, even though he had the leg hit.
Luger dropping the elbow on the chest of Flying Brian. Luger has been working on the back. Now he is high impacting the front side on the chest.
Well, you got to marvel at the outstanding condition of these tremendous athletes. Jim, they take that pounding, they take those punches, and they keep coming back. It's unreal.
That move, Bob, out of desperation. And it worked. The floor is a very unkind place to be.
Especially when you come flying out of the ring with a full head of steam and speed as Brian had. Now Luger's going to be helpful. Like he's going to be helping back in the ring.
Clubbing forearm right to the chest. Luger is in control. The U.S. champion's in control. The Flying Brian is fighting back. Sunset flip. Will he be able to hold him? No, Luger's too strong. Misses with a toe. And this could be the break the Flying Brian needs.
Luger went all the way out of the ring over the top rope. He had such force behind that tremendous swing.
Big chop by Flying Brian. Up on top of Luger. manhandled him. Snatched him right out of the corner. Inverted atomic drop. Sets him on the top turnbuckle. They're going to set him up for the superplex or a slam.
It's hard to figure out what he's got in mind as he's got him on that top turnbuckle. It might be the superplex here.
Pillman's almost out of it, but not enough. He pushed Luger off.
That backfired.
He's on the top rope.
Sunset flip from the top.
1, 2, but Luger with the feet to the head, kicks out. The flying Brian's right back up, chopping away like chopping in a giant oak tree. Flying elbow by Pillman. Eric Pillman now ready to take off.
And that crowd is wrestling at the moment very uneasily.
Pillman looking good.
Luger elevated out of the corner. Flying Brian set for Eric Pillman. He wants to come up the middle of the top rope. He's up. He's got him pinned, but Luger's too close to the ropes. He had him, Bob, but Luger was too close to the ropes.
If it had been the center of the ring, you'd have had a new United States champion now.
Pillman goes for the neck breaker. Once again, going up top. Another high-risk move. Will it pay off here?
Yeah.
He missed the drop kick off the top rope. A tragic mistake.
Luger had
Really great storytelling. The way Pillman
just when he was in the
was
air,
just unlucky that Luger was too close to the rope.
Luger going for the downs here. Catches him up.
Slingshot clothesline. That's it. Great effort from Pillman, but Lex holds on. Really enjoyable match.
At the missed drop kick off the top rope. That unfortunate happening for
Maybe the best match of the night so far.
Turn it around, and one move very definitely turned it around here.
Fans coming up. The irresistible force.
Either that or the Midnight Express match.
Will the Road Warriors be the first team to beat the Skyscrapers? Let's go back now to Chris Crew.
Thank you, Jim Ross. A big surprise. Thought Brian Pillman would finally wear the gold tonight, but apparently that is not to be. We are standing by live here in Philadelphia, just minutes away from the Road Warriors Skyscrapers match. Hawk, you are considered the best tag team in the history of professional wrestling, but can even the Road Warriors defeat the Skyscrapers?
Well, you know, we've been underdogs all our life. And there's some critics
Well, I've
out
had
there
them for a
that think we're
while.
underdogs tonight. Well, the people out there aren't stupid. They know
But I
better.
probably will get some
The
new ones
skyscraper, who
soon.
builds buildings, Paul? People do. And who tears them down? People do. Well, we're a couple of people that are going to reduce them to rubble. Snack on
The ones I've got were all gifts.
Don't make money. Tell them, Adam. You know, a lot of people in our sport today.
I don't know yet. I'll see what ones they've got. I was thinking I might get the Gentleman
That's why we're the
ones
number one team
from
in
her.
professional wrestling and Skyscrapers. You ain't gonna change that.
We'll
All right, fans,
see.
let's go back to the ring now. Road Warriors and Skyscrapers live from Philadelphia.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is the Tag Team Challenge.
This ain't gonna be pretty. Teddy Long looks so quaint. Bugging and bugging.
combined weight, 595 pounds, accompanied by their manager, Precious Paul Ellering. Ladies and gentlemen, I present the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors. They are appearing from the dungeon, so to speak, here in the Philadelphia Civic Center. Their reputation has been hard fought and well
Bit of
deserved.
Black Sabbath for the Road Warriors entrance. An entrance to fear, to strike fear in anyone's heart.
I think here are two men that have very definitely ruled the 80s.
Indeed, they have. More often than not, the tag team of the year in the last 6 years. We talked about Michael Hayes being the first man to bring music. As in his entrances, the Road Warriors, the first man to wear the paint.
Boy, when you talk about style, and look, you can look at Hawk, nose to nose and eyeball to eyeball. Neither man's going to give an inch.
And the fans have been around the Road Warriors know how big they are, but they both have to look up to the skyscrapers.
That's right. Hawk, who is a big and tall, was standing there looking up to look into the eye of submission. You talking about physical? I don't know that a ring can hold the physical activity we're going to see in this one.
The Road Warriors take on Spivey, who is 6'8", Vicious 6'9". The Road Warriors, former bouncers in Minneapolis. I bet that was one of the quietest establishments in captivity when they were policing it.
I don't think they had to worry about any trouble in there, Jim. What is that? Is it Halloween already?
Looked like a great Muda mask or something. Well, I've waited on this one a long time.
Oh, man, I tell you. I've been wanting to see these four collide. You're talking about a collision. You're going to hear this bang for miles.
Collar and elbow tie up. Spivey trying to get the early advantage to the left. Another left right to the kisser. But Animal reverse the clothesline. Nails him again. Tried to take him over the top, but Spivey at 6'8", well over 300, did not go.
Did not go, and I was going to say, how many times have you seen it take two of those blows to get a man down? Normally, when Animal hits a man with that one tremendous forearm, he goes down like a rock.
You know, I've said on our broadcast that I feel like the Road Warriors, for the first time in their career, going into a big match as the underdog. Certainly no disrespect meant to the Road Warriors, but until someone pins the skyscrapers, they got to be favored. They beat everybody. And Hawk comes in, perhaps the more volatile of the Road Warriors. Well, look at those definitions in his shoulders and arms.
Tremendous size and power here, but as we say, the skyscrapers, they can match it, I think, in every respect. Look at that.
Nobody gave me an inch. Spivey, former All-Southeast Conference football player, finally went down. The big flying shoulder block.
It took like that flying torpedo to do it, though. He couldn't run into him and block him and knock him off his feet. Again, we talk about how strong and powerful they all are, and it's very definitely being proved right here in the opening minutes.
Boy, the look on their face, total determination, total concentration. A win here at Halloween Havoc will put the skyscrapers on the cover of every wrestling magazine in our land, around the world. Photographers from Japan and Bill Apters here from Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Dennis Brent from our own Wrestling Wrap-Up as Vicious went for the clothesline, but Hawk ducked it, and Nelly with one of his own. But Hawk's clothesline only put Vicious down to one knee.
Again, it's the power and the strength of them, the skyscraper. And Theodore R. Long, Jimmy's got him primed. He's got him keyed for this.
Long is street smart. Paul Ellering, another college-educated man, is a great strategist. And Big Sid Vicious went for the flying shoulder, but Hawk moved out of the way, but they tags it
Really?
in.
Out of the two, I would have said Ellering was the street smart one, and Teddy Long was the educated one. But there you go.
I've got to believe it in any way you look at it, that a mistake on the part of one of these teams has got to determine who's going to be the winner. I think they can stand toe-to-toe like this and slug at each other all night.
Both of them run together. I'll be very surprised if this one goes past 10 minutes because the physical pounding. Look at that face. That is intensity. He is an animal.
Jim, what do you think it must do to the mind of the Warriors, though, time after time in the match when they do that and the opponent goes down? But here, the skyscrapers don't move.
It's got to be frustrating, Bob. Another flying shoulder. That has worked. And Vicious rolls and falls outside. Teddy Long, the street smart manager, in the biggest match that he
Bit
has ever managed.
dramatic there on the
You talk about
tumble.
manager of the year. The
You
votes
see.
have not been tabulated for manager of the year yet. If
Why
he
the
wins
hell
it here
does
tonight,
Long
his
have a
team, I
key?
should say, he may be a shoo-in.
Well, I tell you, one thing you got to do, too, right here is you got to laud the Road Warriors for this. If one thing is not working, they don't hesitate to go to something else. They've done it twice.
That's from I think from the teachings of Paul Ellering. In his day, a great athlete, former record holder, power lifter in college, and here, the fans want to see a test of strength.
And Vicious is he's gonna do it. He's gonna take the challenge.
This should be most interesting.
Gosh, look at those arms.
One would think Vicious would have the advantage strictly because of the leverage. He's 6'9".
Nothing says 80s wrestling more than a test of strength.
Buy a shirt to fit a body like that, do you, Jim?
Look at the shoulders of Vicious.
Gosh, those unreal.
Another man that makes the future of World Championship Wrestling in the NWA bright. And the Road Warriors only been in the sport 6 years. Vicious can't hardly believe it. Top pushing to the floor. Catapults him out, up and over. And nails him. I mean, brother, he nailed him with that clothesline. But Big Sid did not
Crowd
go
going
down.
wild again.
It's unreal that somebody can take
They've been
blows that
great
these two
all
have
night.
taken and not go down or not back up.
But Bob, they're human. They're made of flesh and bones just like everybody else. They just have a lot more flesh and bigger bones, I guess. But it can only go so far, quite candidly.
I think you're right. I tell you, they got tremendous egos, and Theodore Long has instilled the confidence in them, Jim. They really feel that they cannot be dominated. Gosh, they may be right, too.
Dangerous Dan up after the clothesline. Big elbow by Animal. Wrist lock, taking it around, a full turn, snapping it down with great strength. Tagging in Hawk. Jumps over the top rope and hammers around the arm, the elbow. That's Spivey, powered him right to the corner and tagged in Vicious.
And this Vicious is something to behold, isn't he, Jim?
Indeed he is. Kip
Look
up.
at that.
Oh, look at that kip up. Back clothesline. 6'9", 320, and the big guy kicked
Oh,
right up.
man, that size can do that.
Gotta love the
just
kip
can't
up,
believe it.
especially when
I'll tell
it's
you something, he's
from
got to be a guy
a man that
that a man
size.
like Ric Flair's got to look over his shoulder at down the road. He's got Hawk. He's carrying
There we
Hawk around
go.
like he was yesterday's
Watch
news. There's that helicopter maneuver of Vicious. I wouldn't want to ride on that plane.
No, sir. I don't like the way he lands that thing.
They can give me double frequent flyer miles, and I still ain't going. Spivey, side slam. Going for the pin here. Can he hold him down? Got two. Very few people get two on the Road Warriors.
You're looking at four behemoths fans in the ring, but not only that, they're such gifted athletes. They're not just big and strong. They can move around in there too, Jim.
Spivey sliding right into Hawk. Both feet kicking him out of the ring. And now Teddy Long telling Vicious to take advantage. Take advantage of it. Oh, gosh almighty. I don't care Road Warrior or not. That's steel he's falling into.
And you're coming a long way when Vicious gets you up in the air. There's a guy 6'9". You're coming down about 6-7 feet down on that metal. And the weight.
I have never seen the Road Warriors in this much jeopardy in their career. standing vertical suplex from 6'8". He's on top. 1, 2, but that 500-pound bench press strength meant the difference there.
Jimmy, talking about you never seen it. You know, we knew it was going to be physical, but there was no way to gauge just how physical it was going to be.
This is inspiring. Double teaming Hawk, who may be on his last legs. I think the fans probably as bewildered as us. We've seen the Road Warriors in war games and everywhere, but we have never seen them challenged like the Skyscrapers are doing here.
Nobody has ever stood toe-to-toe and faced them like this team has done.
Hawk was trying to fight back. This is for that clothesline. Now blatant choke.
What do you mean? It's pretty much always
We
been
knew they were outstanding. We knew they were big.
predetermined.
Powerful. But I tell you, we knew this was going to be the supreme
Apart
test.
from the very early days, it wasn't then, but you're sort of talking decades ago.
But it had no effect on Dangerous Dan and the big 6'8" youngster, former All-Southeast Conference player for Vince Dooley down in Georgia. He was on the same team with the present coach at Georgia, Ray Goff. They were teammates at Georgia. But Hawk, what strength! Uncanny resiliency. The counter. But Spivey makes a very timely tag and waist locks Hawk to prevent him from tagging.
Good move on his part. He cut him off. He knew Hawk was going to try to go for the tag, and he very quickly got back to cut him off.
Teddy Long was so nervous before this match.
How the hell does he have that key?
Well, I tell you, if I was a tag team in the NWA and I was watching
Unless you were
I think I
asking
might pack my bag, Jim.
if it was always staged in the past.
In a hurry, because when you got four like this around, brother, you're looking at tough times.
In which case,
Mitch just had the front face lock, that massive arm around Hawk. But Hawk picked him up and
it has been mostly, but there, at the very beginning of pro wrestling, it was legitimate.
That's too bad for the Road Warriors.
Oh, my heavens. Plain view tag, and he was just the other way.
Spivey now, whipping Hawk in. Tony right on the jaw. Following up with the clothesline. And now Hawk has desperately got to make a tag with Animal.
And Jim, you can tell what the toll is taking on these, because earlier the clotheslines didn't affect
Certainly more interesting to watch
Fatigue has got to be set
with
for
it.
big guy.
Oh, nice to watch it.
305 pounds with a drop
With
kick.
the mix
Spivey
of
for the
sports
ride.
and entertainment.
Spivey now in trouble.
Oh, classic stare down.
Hawk in there with Spivey. Said vicious with Animal, but I think Spivey and Animal are the legal men, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, there's Teddy with the key.
They've got that heavy metal key. He's calling for disqualification.
Thought the key would come into play at some point.
The Skyscrapers have yet to be pinned. They'll lose this one by disqualification, but they want to annihilate the Road Warriors here.
It had been physical all the time, but it got completely out of hand, and it's still out of hand in the ring.
This is like a street fight. Like a nugget. Hawk going up to the top. There's that heavy metal key. Hawk and Vicious fighting over it. Hawk has got it. The Road Warriors are going to win it by disqualification.
Pretty enjoyable match for what it was.
And that was a pinfall victory on the Skyscrapers.
I think you're right. I think you might say that they won the battle, but the war has not been decided yet. What a physical bout it was from beginning to end. beyond all expectations.
Here's some of the aftermath of that contest. Road Warriors and Skyscrapers. Indeed, far from over. And fans, the match we've been waiting on. The Thunderdome cage match.
I smell
Coming up in a few
rematch on
moments.
that one.
And standing by with Ric Flair, Sting, and Ole Anderson is our colleague, Christopher Cruz.
Thank you, Jim Ross. That is not the last we will see of the Road Warriors, Dan Spivey and Sid Vicious. Well, what can you say? We are ready for that big Thunderdome match. Ole Anderson, my question for you, at what point will you throw in the towel?
You see this towel wrapped around my arm about 10 times. There's no way. You better get ready, Gary Hart. This towel is going to be like glue on my right arm. When I get out there, the only thing I'm going to be doing is watching Sting and Flair knock the crap out of Mr. Muta and Terry Funk. Get ready because your towel is going to be dropped in that ring. I guarantee.
Ric Flair, are you willing to risk your future in professional wrestling?
I'm amazed. Throw the towel in. Here's how it goes. This is the Thunderdome. This is the big time. This is the National Wrestling Alliance. And Sting and Ric Flair stand for a cause tonight. And the cause is the end of Terry Funk and the Great Muta. Electrified, yes. 10,000 people, yes. Nationwide, yes. Tonight, Funk and Muta. Woo! News right there.
It's Halloween, and guess what? It's going to be full of havoc. It's going to be different because we're talking something different than a regular wrestling match, and I love to be different. You know that. Halloween havoc and electricity. It's just seconds away now, Nature Boy. Woo!
All right, fans, here we are. Thunderdome now live in Philadelphia.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the Thunderdome cage match. Introducing first,
Thunderdome
the
cage match.
special guest referee, the one man
I'm guessing this will be the main
by
event.
the NWA. In officiating this special event, ladies and gentlemen, I present the living legend of professional wrestling, Bruno Sammartino. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the participants. Gary Hart, one of the designated Terminators, accompanies to the ring from the land of the rising sun, the Pearl of the Orient, and he is the world
Great Muta. Got such a raw deal in America. Great combination, him and Gary Hart, though. Who's that with them? Is that? No? Don't know. Thought it might be Big Bubba for a minute, but it's not.
And ladies and gentlemen, in Canyon, Texas, he weighs 247 pounds. He is the former world champion.
Those fans better get away from the Funk. He'll knock their heads off.
Jim, unbelievable Thunderdome match. Electrified fence around the cage. I've never seen it. I've never heard of it. And I'm apprehensive. I'm very apprehensive about it.
And ladies and gentlemen, opponents. First, from Venice Beach, California, he weighs 265 pounds. Wrestling fans, this is Steve.
Jim, we might let all the fans know that when all the participants do get into the ring, then this electrified fence, the Thunderdome, is going to be lowered down over. Another unique thing about it, there's no door in this thing.
When they all get there, it'll be lowered around them. There's no door, no way in,
Yeah.
no way out at that point.
Yeah.
The top electrified, no one can climb over.
And ladies and gentlemen, his partner, he will be accompanied by his team's designated Terminator, The Rock, Ole Anderson. Ladies and gentlemen, from Charlotte, North Carolina, he weighs 245 pounds. And for the 6th time, he is the World Heavyweight Champion, Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
Well, Bob, you notice there's no beautiful women around Ric Flair as is normal. He is all business here. If there will be a party, it'll be after this one's over because he has been training hard. He and Sting. The question is, how far will Ole Anderson let it go? Gary Hart has the most to lose by letting it go too far because he makes his living off the productivity of the Great Muta and Terry Funk.
I think you're 100% right, and Jim, we might again point out to the fans that are not aware of it, the only way the match can end, there's not going to be any falls. The only way it can end is the second or the designated Terminator.
Forget the film 2001.
The towel has got to go up.
When I think about this music, I think Nature Boy Ric Flair.
Right to the very end that they're not going to do that.
Momentarily, ladies and gentlemen, they'll be lowering the biggest cage ever erected for a professional wrestling event around the ring. 30 feet on the side.
As we lower the Thunderdome cage, remember there are no disqualifications, no time limit. The match continues until either Gary Hart or Ole Anderson, the respective Terminators, throws in their towel to signify that a member of their team has had enough and submits.
Should be a good match,
Bruno
but
Sammartino, the living legend.
I'm not sure about the towel
the 17th, 1963.
thing.
It took him 47 seconds to win his first world's title, and he held it from 63 to 71.
Seems like a
a feat
point
that
of
may
tag
never
on.
be accomplished again.
47 seconds. Unbelievable. And now as that cage is going to be lowered, Jim, I'm going to direct this to you because I want to make a point right here now. That cage is electrified. There's a lot of things I'm not fond of. One of them's electricity. But in case anybody in that ring has got to have mouth-to-mouth, friend, you're going to have to go down there and do it. I'm not going to go down near that cage.
Well, I hope it doesn't come to that, Bob. The cage slowly being lowered down. What an intimidating sight.
Good.
It's electrified. I have never seen a cage like this.
Jim, what do you think is in the mind of a Terminator? I think I know what you and I would be like if we saw someone in there suffering, someone hurting, someone in great pain. We'd say, hey, you know, I'm gonna stop it. I'm gonna throw the towel in. But Hart and Anderson, they're not of that ilk. I don't know how far he might go.
Bob, we would be thinking of a little human compassion
Right.
and of tomorrow. These men are not thinking of tomorrow. The Great Muta, undefeated, a man that has world television
The cage
champion,
gets its own music. I love it.
course, Funk. You know how wild Funk is. There's a man I'm not sure has got any feelings, any compassion at all for anybody. Just a completely wild man. Look at this, Jim. As we get our first look at the Thunderdome, have you ever seen anything as imposing in a wrestling event in your life?
The sparks are flying.
Thunderdome roaring around, the lightning flashing. You got to think what's going through the minds now of these 6 individuals that are in the match. Actually, 7 individuals, counting the official, the legendary Bruno Sammartino. I talked to him before we went on the air. First time I had the chance to meet him, he said, I've never seen anything like this. He says, I am very, very nervous, not for the responsibility, because he's a man that has always accepted responsibility.
Wait a minute. Look at that. What is that nut doing?
I don't know where he thinks he's going to go, but he'll get...
He's going to do the split out there between the fence and the road.
The cage a little higher up, where it's where the wiring to make it electrified.
It looks like, as a matter of fact, something has already caught on fire over there.
I told you, we talked about it being dangerous.
Awesome looking
and we have never
cage.
seen one either, fans. You're seeing it for the first time. Thanks to Turner Home Entertainment and World Championship Wrestling and your great cable company. Remember our next pay-per-view spectacular from the Omni in Atlanta. The great Muda sprays the fire.
He put it out.
He put it out.
Yeah, he'll put it out. Saw someone go running down with a fire extinguisher, and Muda said, I got my own. That's called coming prepared.
Well, I'm glad that he put it on the fire and not in someone's face. What an apparatus. Completely surrounding the ring. I tell you what, we have to pat the brave cameraman on the back that's got a handheld inside that son of a gun. It's going to be Terry Funk and Ric Flair starting it out. Funk with a shoulder block, takes Flair down. Funk, former world's heavyweight champion. A 20-year veteran, being hammered by the Nature Boy.
Funk and Flair to kick it off.
Between these two, Jim, and it's coming right out in the opening seconds here.
Terry Funk became the world's champion on December the 10th of 1975. He held the title until early in 1977. And Bruno is already making his presence known. I guarantee you, there's not a man in this facility that's going to intimidate Bruno Sammartino, much less any of the great athletes that are in this match right now.
And Jim, when you talk about the great athletes in the match, that brings to mind again, you wonder, why in the world would someone like the world heavyweight champion say, hey, I'll get in there and I'll wrestle in the Thunderdome match? It's because of that man right there, Terry Funk. He'll do anything to get it from. I believe that.
Big shot by the Nature Boy. Powerful slam. And he's got him up again. And another slam on Terry Funk. Big chop. Oh, man.
That just rings all around the arena.
Funk thrown right out on his head, right out on the floor. There's about 5 feet from the ring until the cage. Right there you see it. There's not a lot of room to operate in. And the higher up you go the cage, that's where the electrified feature takes place. That's where it is in effect at that point.
So if it gets hot enough in the ring to want to get out of it and somebody tries to climb it, they're going to find out just how hot that fence is around the ring.
Shot treatment was never like this. Big chop by Flair, tagging in Sting. Another great young Lions. In the sport 3 years as he tosses Funk outside.
Watch out.
Funk ran into the cage. Trying to attack Ole Anderson.
He was going after Ole, but Sting was right behind him. That was a man he needed to worry about.
I'll tell you something. Look at these designated Terminators. We know Gary Hart has very little scruples, but his paycheck is on the line here. Ole Anderson, I made the comment on the wrestling hotline. And don't forget, fans, we'll have a live post-game show with Lance Russell,
Guess
Joe
they've got
Pedicino,
some
Chris Curtis,
gothic
Gordon Sullivan, Bob and I,
tree
and some special
branches
guests right after
for
this
Halloween
event at 10 o'clock Eastern Time.
surrounding the cave.
I made the comment on the hotline that I didn't think Ole
Guess
Anderson
that's what
would be
they're meant
trusted
to be.
because of his track record.
Maybe
Ric Flair
they're
still obviously think
electrified.
otherwise.
Well, and you're talking about Gary Hart, and you're talking about his meal ticket, especially with a man that just Muda. There's a man that we haven't seen defeated yet in the NWA. There's no telling how far Muda's going to go, and he's going to put a lot of gold in the pocket of Hart. I don't think Hart wants to see him seriously injured.
Can you hear that? The competitive nature of National Wrestling Alliance and World Championship Wrestling. There is none else like this. We appreciate the fans supporting pro wrestling wherever it may be. It's great sports entertainment, but none of it is as physical as this. Great dropkick by Sting, the youngster from Venice Beach, California. Started out as a member of a team called the Blade Runners. I think his partner has not progressed like this kid has.
Well, yeah, you talk about coming a long way in a short period of time.
Yeah, JR really doesn't like the Warrior, does he? Couldn't resist getting the dig in.
Velocity, a lot of fire and fury. Military pressing Muda, and that throws Muda right into Terry Funk.
You only have to hear the episode of Grilling with JR based on the Warrior to know
The
that.
undefeated television champion of the world, and now tagging in the man, Ric Flair. Went through wrestling training in 1972. It was 75 when he had his back broken. A lot of the fans may not know that he trained with the late, great Chris Taylor, who represented the United States in the Olympics. A great big heavyweight, 400 pounds from Iowa State to be exact. He was in the same class with the Nature Boy. Flair, who played football at 260, but he wrestles at 240, 235 to 240. And there's no one in the sport in better condition than the 6 times heavyweight champion of the world. Tag made after the knee drop. The Stinger back in.
And Jim, you made the point before the match as Flair was making his way. No baby of beautiful women around him. As he went toward the ring, it was all business. He knew and he had his mind right on it. If it's going to be party time, it's going to be later. And I think that's the new Ric Flair that we're seeing. Hey, he's going to push him through there.
Trying to push him right through the cage. The bevy of photographers. There's Dennis Britt from the NWA's Wrestling Wrap-Up, the official magazine of World Championship Wrestling, covering this exclusively. Muda's so resilient, Bob.
Oh, man.
He's phenomenal.
And you got to be careful. Anytime Muda's in the ring, Jim, he can hurt you so many different ways. He's got so many different moves. You can't be on the lookout for all of them. You got to be extremely careful when Muda's in there. It only takes one blow from him, and boy, he'll turn you right around.
I think we're going to see a lot of submission-type maneuvers in this because, as you mentioned, Bob, falls are not
Power
existent.
drive
If
elbow.
you're waiting for someone to win
Classic
a ball,
Muta.
you'll be waiting forever because that's not the object of the game. The object is to punish someone so severely that the designated terminator, their second, whatever you like to call them, throw in the towel.
And I think that's why, in Jim, nobody has gone for a pinhole. You haven't seen anybody try to pin him. It's going to be, let's see how bad I can hurt you. Let's see how bad I can wear you down. The eyes again. Boy, there's equalizer. That'll stop an elephant in his track.
Look at Funk choking Sting. Sting is the legal man in this match. Sting has got the Scorpion Deathlock, Flair the figure 4. Muda assortment of nerve holes, and Funk, of course, not only the spinning toe hold that he won the world title with, and his brother Dory Jr. did as well, but he's also got that pile driver. They all have their favorites. And And then all converts.
Ooh.
Look at Funk around to fight Flair, and Flair fights back.
Unbelievable hatred between these two.
Oh, they hate each other with a passion. Front face lock. That quick into the standing suplex. He is so quick. Very little time to set his feet. He went right into the maneuver.
Jim, I don't know of a better all-around athlete in sports than this man, Muda. He can do it all. He's got it all.
Big chop by Flair. Throwing Muda over the top rope. Remember, no disqualifications in this.
And there's Flair and Funk again.
Oh, this is just a straight fight.
Classic rivalry. Flair and Funk.
I'm waiting for someone to get a submission hold. A hold that really is putting some pain on to see what the second's going to do to terminate it.
Who did Muta win the TV title off, I wonder? I think that was the TV title he had on.
Man, I'll tell you something. We thought the Road Warrior Skyscraper wouldn't go long. How can this match go very long with the punishment that they're taking right now? I mean, it's everything but the kitchen sink thus far. Look at Sting's back there.
Yeah, right. He's already got blood on it. I don't know whether that's a cut on his back or whether it came from somebody's nose or eye or something.
It may be pain also from Muda's face.
Could be.
Atomic drop and a clothesline. Boy, they're being tested. They are really being tested here. Going for the Scorpion. He's going for the Scorpion. He's trying to turn him over. And Funk intervened there.
Just in the nick of time, he would have had that Scorpion locked in. And I was just going to say, it looks like that Sting and Flair are trying to work on Muda. He looks like the one they're trying to get out.
Funk ramming Sting's head into the top turnbuckle. San Martino pushing Funk out of the ring. Funk does not want to challenge that great athlete originally from Abruzzi, Italy.
See, Flair again goes right toward Funk. But again, I think it's Muda. I think Muda is the key to this match because Muda is the meal ticket of Gary Hart. And I don't think Hart, no matter how cruel he is, I don't think he wants to see his meal ticket fly out the window.
Terry Funk trying to bushwhack Sting if he can here.
I don't know whether Sting knows he's behind him or not. I don't think he did.
Funk's right there. He's in bad territory too.
That's right.
Flair's right down the apron. Flair with the right hand. Phenomenal chop. My God. That was
Hey, wait a minute. Is he going to try to climb that fence now? Hey, they're going up. Watch out, guys. Don't get too high there.
Sting with a suplex back in the ring on Muda. Funk falls. Perhaps from fatigue as Muda now trying to come
There
out.
goes Muda. Where's Muda going?
If it gets too high up there, the hair will be raised on his neck. As Sting goes up after, they're high above the ring.
Sting also going up now. Following Muda. Oh! He just got shot. He reached up and got bit right there.
The crowd oohed and awed. They could see the sparks flying.
Man, I'd come off of that thing and I'd come off quick.
2 high flyers up there.
I don't know what Muda's object is even being there. Get down off of that thing, guy. Now there's Funk's over there. Is Funk trying to get out now?
Flair with a big shot. We'll keep our eye on Terry Funk as he goes up to the top there. Flair pulling him back down. Muda's still on the other side of the ring, on the up the wall there, the cage. Sting now in trouble back in the ring. Ole Anderson on the far side. You can see him there keeping a close eye on it.
And it's amazing that the bound. Hey, wait a minute. There goes Funk again up high. Flair right up there after him.
Look at Funk hanging from the top of the cage. And Flair's chopping it like a tree. Funk's leg now entangled as Flair swings in the rope that's hanging down.
Swinging like Tarzan.
That's a very precarious and dangerous place for Funk to be now. He's going to be caught and hanged by the leg in that fence.
Sting has Muta high over his head, holding him seemingly for an eternity. What's he going to do? Throw him outside? He's held him up there for forever. What strength by the youngster from Venice Beach, California.
Get the feeling someone goofed the spot up there.
This is bizarre and as physical and unpredictable as anything we've witnessed. And fans, what is trying to call it, as we can see it here,
right.
The action is all over this thing. Funk is still hanging from the cage.
Boy, it would have been a perfect and ideal time for Flair and Sting both to have double-teamed Muta and really, wait a minute, where'd he go? Under the ring?
He went under the ring. What's under the ring? I would have. Sting with a rope there, rope hanging down. They can use that rope to their advantage.
Funk again is up to the top.
He must think he can get out of this thing, and that's ludicrous. You can see that the top of the cage is slanted inward, much like a fence in a prison.
That's right. You can't climb over the goddamn thing.
Flair ran shoulder first into the cage by Muta. And Funk and Sting are still up the top. There they are. Man, what physical punishment.
I tell you, there's no doubt that the man that has had the least to do so far is that man, the designated Terminator. He hasn't figured it all into it.
Sting looks like Tarzan up there with that rope. Does that make Funk cheetah? I don't know. Now, Flair right there could go for a pin, but it's irrelevant.
That's right.
But he can go for the figure four.
Oh, that's what he did, Jim. Look.
Figure four
He's got it.
coming up.
He's got the figure four locked in on Muta. And now it's a matter of time. It's only a matter of time until that leg snaps. And Gary Hart, I'd like to see the Sting flying through the air on that rope with both feet in Funk. Flair punishing Muta, but apparently sensing that he didn't have it either locked in to his own full advantage or to his liking, relinquished the maneuver. It won't be the last time we see the figure four, we have to think.
Well, and I think he got an eye full again of Terry Funk. Even though he had that figure four on Muta, he was all the time eyeing Funk over there.
Oh, kicked him. He kicked Flair in the back of the head, and Flair was on the second turnbuckle. Sting flying through the air on that rope. Oh, gosh, he just straddled the dadgum cage. And now Funk's going to try to hog tie.
He's got the rope. I think he's trying to tie that rope around that leg. If he gets that rope tied around and hangs him by that.
Muta's got Flair. And that's a reverse version of a spinning toe hold. Same basic position of the legs for the object person. That meaning Flair has Muta leg back on it. Twisting the cartilage and the leg of a nature boy.
All right, and we may see the Terminator come into play here.
This is a submission move, Bob. Will Ole Anderson throw in the towel here? Flair's in deep trouble. Front face lock and reverse front face lock and the leg grapevine. Out of the bridge.
Reverse SPF.
Sting, is he tied there? Is Sting tied to the cage?
I think he's tied there. Hey, Ole's going up there to untie him.
But it's giving Funk and Muta the opportunity to really try to tear Flair up. Funk from West Texas put up a half hitch and a hooey, as they say at rodeos. And there he is.
And I tell you, talking about having trouble, Ole Barry is having a lot of trouble with that rope around the leg of Sting. I still don't think he got the knot untied.
Here comes the step pile driver. Remember Flair on May 7th was injured by Terry Funk at Wrestle War 89. That's the night Flair regained the heavyweight championship of the world.
Severe neck injury that he received from that pile driver, and still he hasn't got that rope untied. He might take a knife and cut it or something. Funk must have put one of those cowboy knots in there.
Well, this puts Flair in so much jeopardy. It allows the double team. Now there's nothing the referee can do because there's absolutely no disqualification. I think Ole finally got Sting untied.
I went to town yesterday. Did a little bit of shopping. Whoa, Sting off the cage. As tired as Sting. Yeah, I got a couple. What did I get? 2 or 3 DVDs? Yeah, I got a few DVDs. Cheap ones. Got some comics as well. Went into the comic book shop.
Go to the land of the rising sun right now. He may be fried one time.
That did pretty well.
I know where he's trying to go. Again, Jim, we don't think it's possible. I don't see how anybody can climb over that thing.
Big chops.
I like to support the comic book store because it's a small place.
Figure 4 coming. And he wants that on Funk. He wants it so bad.
I know the person who runs it quite well now.
He just may try to break
And you
that
find
ring off
some
if he
good
gets him
stuff
in
in
that
there.
floor.
Muto and Sting battling it out up on the cage. High above the ring. Flair working on the leg of Funk. Viciously,
Yeah.
and Funk cannot even stand.
Yeah, they're surviving.
Again, I think it's important to mention that the designated Terminator hasn't even figured in the bout so far.
She
Nobody's
said
had a
they've
submission
been
over that
doing
length of time.
not bad recently.
Well, this one started out as an Australian Rules Tag Team event. In principle,
She said,
turned into a
I think
Texas tornado
because
tag where all 4 in the ring
a lot of
simultaneously.
people can't go to Manchester at the
Muta says
moment
that's all for Sting.
because of the restrictions that she's hoping it means they'll do a bit more business for Christmas.
Well, if they have a boys choir in Tokyo, he'll be a tenor.
Yes, sir.
And here comes a figure
Here we
4
go,
from Flair.
figure 4.
There it is. As you said on that leg, Jim. What do you call that one?
Right there. He's got the figure 4.
Looking hard over there, shaking his head and saying, no way.
Sting coming off on Funk. Funk is being brutalized.
Funk
He is
attacks
literally
from all
being
sides.
brutalized. And Gary Hart is not even having anything to throw the towel in. Once again, right off the top.
Whoa, Bruno just decked Muta. I forgot Bruno was the ref, to be honest, till then.
I don't think he did. It must have been by an accident.
The match is over.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winners of the Thunderdome match, the team
Wow,
of Sting and the Nature
that was a
Boy,
bit dodgy, that finish, but Sting and Flair win.
What a tremendous conclusion to this event, but certainly not without some controversy, Bob.
Jim, you're 100% right. I'm still not so sure that Hart meant to throw that in. I think it may have been by an accident. I think he got hit. Ole Anderson, I think when he and Gary Hart both went climbing into the ring and they collided over there, it looked like that towel went flying out of the hand of Gary Hart.
He didn't
Right
throw
here was
that
the beginning of
towel
the
in on
downfall.
purpose.
Gary Hart was going to let Terry Funk's leg just get snapped like a twig. And after a succession of big splashes off the top rope by Sting, with Flair holding the figure 4, here came Muta. Muta trying to chop Bruno. Watch this. Boom! That's a right hand from Abruzzi, Italy.
Boy, and you're talking about right now. Let's see if we can see what happened. As again, Flair had that figure 4 and he had it locked in, and he really was putting the pressure to it. Now there is when Hart went to go down, you saw that arm with that towel, Jim.
And when Bruno had no alternative but to end the match because Ole Anderson's got his towel in his hand. The only other towel out there was from Gary Hart. So what a physical situation we have seen. The electrified top of the cage came into play on 2 or 3 occasions. And the winners, Flair and Sting. What a matchup.
Oh, Jim, I tell you, and you know, I got to go back a little bit earlier as to the confrontation
enjoyable
again
main
between
event.
Ric Flair and Terry Funk. You know, I don't think this thing can stop, and I don't think it can end here. One of these guys, something's got to happen to him and happen bad for this tremendous hatred they have for each other to end.
Well, I'll tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. We have seen so much here tonight. We thought it would be the night that Flying Brian will be able to take it to Lex Luger and become the new United States Heavyweight Champion. It did not work out that way for Flying Brian, but there'll be better days for him because he gave Luger quite a test.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt about that. But, Jim, I think you and I both agreed, Luger, what a tremendous specimen that he is. Tremendous future ahead of him. Championship, I think untold championships ahead for Luger. Hey, you're talking about great matches. Hey, what about that? What about the Warriors and what about the Skyscrapers, Jim?
Well, you know, the Road Warriors came here wanting to become the first team to pin the undefeated Skyscrapers. They did not accomplish that particular goal, but they did walk out of here with a no disqualification victory. But I think that it's be very safe to say that the Road Warriors certainly have not seen the last of the Skyscrapers and vice versa. You know, Bob, we do appreciate so much the fans joining us on pay-per-view. We'll be having our post-game show with Lance Russell and Joe Pedicino and many special guests. You can call 1-900. I'm about to lose my voice. It's a great night. The fans want to remind you that our next pay-per-view spectacular will be Starrcade 89 from our home base in the Omni in Atlanta on Wednesday night, December the 13th. And we'll be having some major announcements in upcoming days about the most unique Starrcade of all.
Jim, you know, every time it just gets better and better and better. Hey, next is going to top it. I'm sure of that.
Starrcade 89 is the granddaddy of them all. And that's going to happen on Wednesday night, December the 13th, from the Omni in Atlanta. We hope that this cable company will be carrying that event as well. You fans, we certainly appreciate you allowing us to come into your home. We've seen some great action. The Dynamic Dudes came very close, but the Freebirds are still the greatest team. I wonder if Cornette's problems with the Midnight had a factor on that.
Well, and I tell you, we may not have seen the end of that either. You know, I think that's something that we got to look forward to in the future to see just how that's going to pan out.
Ladies and gentlemen, for Chris Cruz, Gordon Soley, and Bob Connell, I'm Jim Ross. Thanks very much, and so long from Philadelphia.
I started to say, I don't know why
Pardon. Gotta love it when the crane operator gets the credit. Okay, guys, that's it. Halloween Havoc 89. I had a good time watching that. And look out for more Halloween Havoc live streams before the end of October. Next time will be Halloween Havoc 1991. But thanks everyone for dropping by. It's been a fun one. Take care. Look out for more streams. See you soon.